So I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is the Boxborough Select Board. It is June 10th, and it's about 6:36 or so. We're going to begin this evening with the Pledge of Allegiance. So if we can all stand and face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So I actually want to bring this up to the board. At one point, we were, the previous select board was asked to do the Pledge of Allegiance at the beginning of every meeting. And at the time, we were undergoing some significant political turmoil. And my understanding is the board at that time decided that because former President Trump had appropriated the American flag as a symbol of his agenda, that select board chose not to do the Pledge of Allegiance at every meeting. I personally feel that at no other time in my lifetime does the country, does the town, does everyone need to come together, and our flag represents the United States. It doesn't represent Donald Trump. This is my opinion. It represents the United States. I'm a registered Republican. I'm going to throw it out there. But I just feel strongly that we could consider doing the pledge at every meeting, and perhaps even invite different community members to come in and lead it. It's a way for them to meet us, to get to know them. And again, I think it's just a way of bringing the community together, or something that we can all agree on, is that we're all Americans. So I'd like to just bring that up to the board.
Kristen, before we start, did you do like a roll call or?
No, because Wes isn't here. We don't have to because we're in person.
Okay, so we do.
There's no Zoom, so there's no roll call.
Is Wes not coming?
Wes will be here shortly.
Okay.
Yeah, he just got home from work, kids, wife, all that. But I wanted to bring this up. After Memorial Day, I just felt really strongly that this is something we should be reconsidering.
I will say, I'm fine with that. I think having the pledge at each meeting is fine. It's a lot of select boards that do it. I think that's fine.
I'm fine with it. I think we should be doing it. Wes is here now. Yeah.
Hey, Wes.
I agree. I think we should be doing it. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
Okay. Wes, we just did the Pledge of Allegiance, and I just suggested that we begin every meeting with the pledge. I don't know if you were on the board. It was 6 years ago. My understanding is the board was approached. They declined to do the pledge at every meeting. And I just feel like at no other time in my lifetime is it important that we all understand that we are all Americans living under the same flag, and this would be a nice way to show Boxborough's allegiance. And it just got sprung on you, so if you need to think about it, I totally get it. I will also tell you I addressed the fact that the previous select board declined to do that because they felt that Donald Trump had appropriated the flag as an emblem of his position, and that was, I don't know if it was ever publicly stated or not, but this is what was explained to me, and that's why they declined to do it at every meeting, but I just would really like to bring it back.
If I can say, Donald Trump doesn't own the flag.
Right.
All of us do. So.
Whether you're voting for him or not, and I also confessed I'm a Republican, so, you know. Are you thinking or are you passing?
It makes no difference to me.
All right, then I'd like to make a motion that the select board meeting begins with the Pledge of Allegiance after the meeting is called to order from this day forward.
Second.
I just made that up as I went along. Is it okay? Any further discussion? Any discussion from the floor?
So I think technically it would be up to the chair, because the chair sets the agenda, so I don't know if we need a motion from the board.
You understand that I like to make sure that everybody feels that they're participating and that I am not a dictator. So I made the motion, we're just going to vote on it. Is there any discussion from the floor? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Excellent. All right, announcements. We'll whip through this and then get to our agenda. Morning Movement Series. This month, the Boxborough Wellbeing Committee invites you to a series of mindful movement workshops on the grassy field of the Sargent Memorial Library at 10 a.m. on Saturdays. The events are free and open to anyone. Come with your family and friends and experience the joy of movement. On June 22nd, Gina Flaherty of Gina's Studio is hosting a session that will energize you with an hour of Zumba. I'm the one in the back that they're saying, hey, you, come up front. You don't get it. Come up front. That's me. But, all right, June 22nd, 10 a.m. at the Sargent Memorial Library. Pfeiffer's Day, the 56th annual Pfeiffer's Day will be held Saturday, June 15th at Flora Meadows. This year, there will be several exciting new activities for the kids.
Wait,
and
what date did you say?
Saturday, June 15th?
Okay, I thought you said.
What did I say? Maybe I didn't say
I
that.
thought you said July.
I might have. June 15th at Flower Meadows. This year there will be several exciting new activities for the kids and the usual live music, bouncy castles, volleyball, road race, craft, and vendor booths, as well as delicious food and drink options. Firefighters Day kicks off with the road race at 9:30 a.m., followed by the parade. If you'd like to get involved and help with Firefighters Day, please contact the Public Celebrations Committee or the Boxborough Minutemen. I actually just got a note, there are 72 booths this year.
Oh, wow.
There's
Nice.
gonna be a lot of people there. So pray for good weather. That's the other thing is,
It's gonna be
pray to the
beautiful.
rain gods. And that is it.
Is that definitely?
Alrighty. Any other announcements from the board?
Yeah, it's gonna be beautiful.
Mike? No announcements? I got it all. Okay. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is, Chief Shevchik is here to present our new police department chaplain.
Another chair?
Oh, gosh,
chairs.
yeah,
Oh.
please.
Hi, good evening.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening, hi.
John Shevchik, Chief of Police here in Boxborough. Thank you for having me here tonight. You know, I've talked a lot in the past with, I think, all
Is
of
your
you,
mic
certainly
on?
with Rajan.
Is your mic on?
Yeah, it's on.
Is that on? Yeah. I believe certainly with Rajan and Mike about, you know, some days in any profession, right, are frustrating and tough, and other days are really exciting. Today is one of those exciting days. So I'm really, really happy to present to you and to present to the community our new department chaplain. Before I get into that, and I'll be really respectful of your time, I just want to talk quickly about, you know, why it's important to have a department chaplain. And like I said, I know you have a long agenda, so I'll be quick. But I look at it's more than just before a ceremony, giving a prayer before a ceremony or an academy graduation. I look at just this past month, there were two major incidents, one Harvard, one in Acton. And that's in the last 3 weeks. I look at just this past year here in town, we've had some major incidents. And to have a resource for the officers to speak with, to talk to during a debriefing, after action, is again, it's a resource. No one would be forced to talk to him, but they don't want to. But to have that resource is a really positive thing for a department. And it's also a positive thing for a community. I can tell you firsthand, one of the toughest things an officer has to do is give a notification, a death notification. That's something where a place where having, you know, Father Ted with you when you're doing that can really, really help start that healing process a lot quicker or help at a time like that. So it's also a resource for the community. I think that's important to understand. So Father Theodore J. Barbas, I got to meet relatively my first few months here, and he's been nothing but very, very supportive and very, very helpful of not just me, but of the entire department, of the entire community. Father Ted graduated from Hellenic College in 1989, and then Holy Cross Greek Orthodox School of Theology in 1992. He's a current chancellor at the Greek Orthodox Archdiocese of America in Brookline, and he's been a Boxborough resident here since 2018. However, part of the Acton Boxborough community, because he came from Acton before that, for over 20 years before that. So he's been part of this community for a long, long time. He's been married to his beautiful wife, who's over here today, Daphne, for 30 years. And he's got 4 children, all AB high school graduates, 3 of which I think are here tonight, Maria, Katerina, Yanni, and Tia, 3 of which are in the back there. Really happy that they were able to make it home from school. On a personal note, I'll tell you that during our Strengthening Police and Community Partnership Program, Father Ted was instrumental in that being on that planning group and helping us make that day a success. He also served as a facilitator that day and did a great job creating dialogue for the entire community and having people really feel that they could speak freely. So he's been a real benefit to the department, to this community. So I'm really, really excited here to welcome Father Ted as our department chaplain and say a couple words, if you would.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Good evening,
you.
everybody.
Good evening.
I was, the chief gave you kind of a quick overview, but yes, my wife Daphne and I have 4 children, and they all are AB graduates. And then after we lost our mother-in-law, we moved a few miles down the road in order to be in a position to accept our father-in-law. So we came into Boxborough
And we've loved the last 6 or 7 years that we've lived here. It's my honor and privilege to serve our department and our town in this capacity. I've been a Greek Orthodox priest for about 30 years. And I was in Watertown, before this administrative post that I hold as chancellor, I was in Watertown for 12 years. I served Watertown in a kind of a less official capacity, but as the chaplain for all of the town, the police, the fire department, the town hall, and being kind of the town clergy, the town chaplain, was a huge blessing. And we opened the doors of our church, the town events, all the major events, including, I had left already, but the relationships I built were so strong that when we had the marathon bombing, the police department of the Watertown community called on me to come and to be there. My son Yanni, who's here with us, the next day we were down at the police station, and Yanni was a young boy and got a personal tour of all that happened on those streets of Watertown that day. And being that resource for town meetings, for the police, for the fire department, really enriched my life and my ministry. And I could tell that it was important for us to serve and to be available to those who serve us every day. And so I thank you for your trust. I thank the chief. I thank our police department. One small story. The police department has been phenomenal in our lives and in our family. But Officer Max Bresci, who's here this evening, when my children were in school, and specifically my son Yanni, but all of our kids, Max went out of his way to build relationships with the students of our high school. And through Yanni and our house, because COVID hit, so our house became kind of the epicenter for all of the high school students to be outside in campfires almost every night. And Max and his department friends would come and sit around the campfire and build strong, healthy relationships with our young people. And through that, I've gotten to know all of the officers at the department and see how all of them spend so much of their time in building this community kind of policing to get to know, to get ahead of problems, so that we're not just kind of reactive, but we're proactive in trying to build strong, healthy, positive role model relationships with our young people. So it's my honor to be available to serve the chief, the department, and the town in any way that I am able to, and in any way that is warranted and is invited. So I make myself available to all of you.
Thank you.
And thank you for the service that you give. And to Michael, I offer that through your office to the entire town administration.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Michael.
So Father Ted, I have 2 questions for you, and you can take as little or as long as you want. I'd love to know a little bit about your calling, and I'd like to know what pledge you would make to citizens and visitors to Boxborough Lake.
Excellent. My calling, I'm the youngest of 6 children, and my mother was, my whole family was kind of the Greek Orthodox Church is not just a religious kind of organization, but it's also the cultural connection for those who grandparents have come from Greece. And so in our culture and heritage, the church is the center of our life. So my parents had us all, we lived across the street from the church in Woburn. I grew up, was born and raised. But my mother and my parents had us very intimately involved in the life of the church. But because I was the youngest, I was with my mother all the time, and she was intimately tied into the church almost daily. So from a young age of 5 or 6, I just kind of knew that that's what I wanted to do with my life, and I became very close with my priest, and my whole life was centered in and around the church and life and service. And I spent my summers in Greece cultivating that formation. And then back in 1987, I began youth work, doing camps in California, and then we brought that out to our camp here, and we established a camp in 1990 where probably over 15,000 kids have come through that program since, and we're still, all my children not only grew up there and were campers there, but now they're all on the administrative staff of the camp, running the camp. For this summer, over 700 kids that will be there. And so kind of like
Wow.
Max and the
That's a
way
lot of
that
kids.
the way that our police and Max do their community policing is how I do my priesthood, building positive, strong relationships with young people so that when they have issues, for me, the biggest compliment isn't when people say, hey, Father Ted, great job. It's when a kid in trouble picks up a phone and says, Father Ted, I need help. And that is kind of like, okay, I'm doing kind of what I need to be doing. And so my calling has always been one of service, but mostly in and around those young people in crisis. And my pledge to the town is
So
to...
the citizens and the visitors, anybody coming through our borders, what's your pledge?
So my pledge to this town, citizens and borders, is to make myself available in that same way, to meet people at camp. I'll bring what our goal at camp is to the town, to meet people where they are, to build relationships with them by earning their trust, their love and their respect, and the right to walk with them, and then to walk with them through whatever they're going through, towards the next day. And so that's the pledge that I offer this town, of your residents, of our residents and citizens visiting.
We'll take you up on that. All
I'm
right.
sorry?
We'll
Thank you.
take you up on that.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions?
I don't have a question, but I think it's brilliant. When I saw the letter, I just, it was just another example of the police department taking another step forward. And welcome. I think
you,
that
David.
it's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Thank you, David.
I just have two questions, and at first, welcome. I applaud the chief for bringing you on board. You mentioned that you were a chaplain with Watertown.
Yes.
Do you still have any other affiliations with them now, or would you be solely with Boxborough?
I do not have any official relation. I was in Watertown 12 years, so when I go to Watertown, even to it's a very ethnic community. So the Armenians, which are not part of our congregation, say, hey, Father Ted, my priest is here.
Yeah.
We built really strong relationships with everyone in Watertown. I don't have any official relationship there, except with our church. But I loved my time, and I love going back there. Now the police chief, as you know, of that time has retired, moved on. So I've lost the connection with the police department. But for several years, until he retired, I would still go down to the police department and just check in and make sure the boys the officers were doing well.
Great, good. And the chief, being the newest member of the select board, I'm not sure of the background of this. So I have unfortunately a technical question. Does the chaplain get paid? Is that a paid service for the town?
No, it's a volunteer position.
Great.
As it was in Watertown, there was never any payment. It was just a volunteer privilege. I looked at it as a privilege.
Great. Thank you. I'm all set.
Welcome.
Thank you.
you so much for
Thank you.
taking on this. I know our law enforcement officers face a lot of emotional, draining situations, and to have someone like you to help them with their day-to-day things, and also like the larger community, we couldn't have asked for anything better. Thank you so much. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Well, I think welcome is a perfect thing to say. You're right, we all said it already. All right, well, again,
Thanks,
thank
Wes.
you very much. Thank you all for coming in, too.
All right.
Can I just add one last thing?
Sure.
Although, because I was asked this a few times this evening, although this position is officially, as you can see, with the
You got swag.
yes, thank you, with the police department. A few people asked me, does this extend to the fire department? So although I think the answer is officially on the police, my answer is yes. The fire department, the town officials, anyone that I could assist and would like any type of support, please know that I'm available.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, well, thanks again for coming in tonight.
Thank you,
Father
Chief.
Ted.
Good evening.
Father Ted, on behalf of the town hall employees, I would like to take you up on your offer to be the chaplain for town hall, and then I'll extend that to the DPW director, the library director, and then the new fire chief when they're in. I think they would be interested as well, but I don't want to speak for them. But welcome to town hall and the police department.
Nice to meet you in person.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you,
night.
Beth.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Good night.
Thank you
Good
for
night.
Good night.
Okay, so we're gonna take things a little out of order. We're gonna skip over the fire department grant, and we're gonna jump to the fuel-efficient vehicular policy and the green community designation. Alec Wade, our town planner, is going to be presenting on behalf, and teach us all about it, Alec.
Thanks for that, Kristen. So I'm actually going to end up turning this over to Kat from MAPC.
Sure.
Kat has been working with Town of Boxborough for
Hold
over
on
a
one
year
second,
now.
Alec. Kirby, can we do anything with volume? We're all having a little trouble
See if you can
hearing.
speak closer.
Or can you get closer to your mic, Alec?
Can you guys hear me now?
Not
not
any
yet.
differently.
Hold on.
Sorry.
No worries. Try it again. Any better?
No, it's weird.
Or can we
Oh,
hear
well, that
you?
feels good.
Nope, wrong one. Don't turn those up.
See
Nope.
if we can hear Kat.
Kat? Hey, Kat, let's see if we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, that's better.
Say
You can
it
hear
again.
me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Okay, Alec,
Okay.
it's your microphone, sorry. Okay,
Well,
thank you.
good thing because I'm presenting tonight, so happy to take
Pull
over
it,
for Alec.
Oh, there you go.
I spoke with him that well.
So our audience members are saying they can't hear you also. Can you hold your mic closer to your mouth?
Sure, I will also speak up.
How about that?
Okay, is that better?
Yeah.
Thumbs up? Okay, thank you. Keep going.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for having us. It's a pleasure to be here with you all. And again, we want to be respectful of time. We know you have a long agenda. So I'm here to present about the Green Communities Program.
So we've
and
all,
Boxborough's-
Kat, I'm sorry, we've had a request for you to slow down a little bit too. Don't worry about our time, that we'll just make this happen.
Okay.
We actually have interviews starting at 5 past. This is all gonna be recorded, and you can play it at home louder. Would that be all right? Because we do kind of need to move along.
Okay, so out of respect for everyone, shout and go a little slower, and you've got 10 minutes, I promise.
Okay. Great. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, great. Quick introduction. My name is Kat. I'm an environmental planner at MAPC, which is the Metropolitan Area Planning Council. We're a regional planning agency that serves the 101 municipalities in the greater Boston region, and Boxborough is one of the municipalities that we serve. We're working with DOER, which is the Department of Energy Resources, and we have our friend Kelly on the call today. And we want to share about the Green Communities Program and Boxborough's progress towards becoming a green community, a designated green community. So I'm going to run through my slides and really hope to have some time for Q&A at the end. So I want to present, well, first I'll kind of an overview of the program. This program is funded by DOER, and it's really a program to help municipalities reduce their energy usage and also invest in energy efficiency. So a green community, there are 295 in Massachusetts. So this slide is showing the municipalities in green are already designated. This is an older program. For example, Acton, your neighbor, is designated in 2010, and they've been designated since. So join your neighbors. You'll be in really good company. That's kind of an overview of the program. Happy to go in more detail if there's questions. I'm going to go through some of the criteria really quickly. There's 5 criteria to being designated. There's as-of-right siting, expedited permitting, and the stretch code adoption, criteria 1, 2, and 5, which Boxborough has already achieved. So I'm here today to talk about criteria 3 and criteria 4, in order to apply to be a green community. I'm going to run through this. So the first one I want to talk about is the fuel efficient policy. The fuel efficient policy is a policy that municipalities and school districts, if they're part of the designation, it requires that their purchasing and that their vehicles are fuel efficient. And so I'll go into a little bit more of what that means. There's also a replacement and recycling plan. So this means that a municipality if they were shifting vehicles between departments, they would also have to comply with the fuel efficiency requirements. So by DOER definition, we're using the 2019 EPA data. This is a quick snapshot of what fuel efficiency means here, depending on what vehicle type we're talking about. Hybrid vehicles and electric vehicles do also fall in these fuel efficient categories, so they'd be considered fuel efficient. So what we do is we look at, we inventory the vehicles in the town of Boxborough. And so here we have 27 vehicles. I've found that 26 of them would be exempt from this policy. I'll go into a little bit what that means. So 26 vehicles are exempt. One vehicle is not exempt to this policy if it were to be adopted tonight, but that one vehicle is already in compliance with the fuel efficiency standards in the policy, so no action would be needed. And what I mean by exempt, exempt vehicles are typically heavy-duty vehicles, anything over 8,500 pounds, and they typically are also emergency response vehicles and any type of off-road, other types of use vehicles. Those that are not exempt are typically admin vehicles, which are less than 8,500 pounds, and sedans or light-duty trucks. So just going back, of the 27 of Boxborough's vehicles, one is not exempt, but it's already in compliance with this policy. This is just a snapshot of the inventory and the details of those vehicles. So kind of putting this into practice, this means that exempt vehicles, the purchasing processes and decisions would be made as normal, and for not exempt vehicles, so that one vehicle, if it were to be replaced by another vehicle, that would also need to meet the fuel efficiency standards that that vehicle already meets. So that's a kind of an overview of the fuel efficient policy. I'm going to go through the energy reduction plan, which is the other criteria that hasn't been achieved yet, and then I'll take questions at the end. So an energy reduction plan is a plan, it's a roadmap, a blueprint, just a plan, it's not binding at all, but we put together a plan for a 20% reduction in energy use in the town within 5 years. So this is a requirement by DOER for green communities. So what we do is we look at the town and school buildings' energy use, as well as energy use by pump stations, vehicles, traffic lights, lights at parks and open spaces, and we make a baseline energy use. So this is a snapshot of Boxborough's energy use. Fiscal year 23, which is July 2022 to June 2023. This is the breakdown of fuel used by Boxborough. So you can see 40% was used by gas, and then gasoline and diesel, typically the vehicles are included in this, so that's where that's coming into play, and then also electricity. On the right-hand side, there's a graph of buildings by their energy use, and so these are the top 5 buildings according to their energy use. So Blanchard Elementary School is the top consuming building, the next one is the library, and so forth. And so this is the energy use of the baseline year, which is last summer to 2 summers ago to last summer. So what we do in the plan is we look at the energy use, and then we figure out, based on different projects and programs that we suggest, how we can reduce energy use by 20% in 5 years. For visual learners, this is like just a graphic of what that means. So you start with a baseline and you do all these different types of things funded by DOER, and then in 5 years, you will reduce your energy usage by 20%. There was also an audit done to the buildings to also go through and look at the state of the buildings, such as the lighting that's used, or things that could be weatherized, or different types of energy sources that we could use, energy measures that we could use. And I'm going to show the recommended projects by year. So when Boxborough becomes designated, you will immediately get designation funds well, maybe not immediately, but you look at designation funds by being designated, and those can be used for the projects that I'm going to show. Once that designation funds is used, you can then apply for grants through DUER to continue funding those other projects. So for year one, we found that these are some suggested projects that can be done in that year with the funds that are available. So for example, replacing lighting with LED lights and weatherizing portions of Blanchard, for example, by tightening the building envelope and air sealing it. So these are things that can be done with the funds that are provided in the first year, and that can be achieved also in a year. These measures must be completed to be able to apply for more funds. And so in the following years, we can do some more weatherization. We recommend also doing LED lighting at the school, or at least starting it. And so you can see the different buildings that I've listed here, the police department, fire department, library, all different types of recommendations on where to weatherize and how. And that will reduce your energy use. Year three, we're going into a little bit more of installing air source heat pumps or pipe insulation and those types of things. Year four is similar with energy management system upgrades, other air source heat pumps that can be used at different facilities, and heat pumps, rooftop units in the office and cafeteria at the school. And then a recommendation for year five at the school as well. So I flew through that, but that's kind of an overview of the two policies that would allow Boxborough to become designated. You would receive funds based on population size. I think it's about $135,000 to start year one, and then you would get funds up to $225,000 every year after that to fund these projects.
Kat, thank you so much, and I really appreciate you taking the report and distilling it down into a PowerPoint, which is really easy to understand and process.
Great.
These are on the town's website in our agenda packet, so anyone who wants to look at it a little more closely, they are there. So yeah, great job. I know you were under a lot of pressure right there, so thank you very much. Any questions from the board?
I just had one question.
Sure.
Kat,
Yes.
you said that the first year would be $135,000, and then additionally there would be a money every other year after that? Did I get that right, or did I remember wrong?
225.
Yes, there would, the years 2 through 5, they would be competitive grant funds, and they would be up to $225,000. And you'd have to complete the projects to be able to apply for the next year. Kelly, feel free to jump in if I'm misquoting anything.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
So it was $135,000 the first year, then and up to $225,000 a year, 2 through 5.
Yes.
Okay, great, thank you.
Kelly, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, so the designation grant amount is once you hit the 5 criteria, you get an automatic designation grant once you become a green community, and that's a formula-based grant. And that's estimated, I think Kat's at 135, I'd say it's probably estimated 130, just to be a little more conservative. It's 125,000 as a base amount, and then additional funds based on the per capita and population of Boxborough. Once you complete all the projects under the designation grant, then you can apply for more funds. Every calendar year, we offer 2 opportunities for green communities when they've completed all their grant projects to come in for more funds. And that's the $225,000 up to per applicant until you reach a max of $1 million.
Kat and Kelly, I have one other question. You guys had like the year by year what we need to do, right? Are we allowed to like do some switches in terms of what we need to do? Is that allowed, or do we have to follow what you guys have given us in terms of what has to be done?
Yeah, you absolutely can. I'll state this again, and this is a plan, a roadmap. You know, life is life. The second you become designated, things might change for whatever reason. And so you absolutely can decide to switch them around. These are just suggestions.
Great, thank you.
So I have a question. I have a question for either Kelly or Kat about how the regional school, because the school isn't a Boxborough school; it's a regional school. So we're signing off on this policy, and even on the plan, and how does that, have the folks in Acton already signed off on the same thing, because, since they're a green community? Oh, you know, I'm just trying to figure out the square peg in the round hole.
Yeah. I saw Kelly and Alec both on mute, so feel free to jump in. I'm also happy to.
Okay, so
Here, you go ahead.
Alec, you want to take it?
yeah,
Alex
I'll
got
dive
it.
in. So we've submitted both items to the school system as well, and we're awaiting Peter Light's review. Peter is authorized and able to sign off on both ERP and the policy side of items. And I'll note too, Acton already went through this process many years ago. In fact, I think they're one of the gems in Kelly's district. They get a lot of attention for the great work they've done thus far, rightfully so. But on top of that, when they came in, the school system originally adopted the fuel efficient vehicle policy and included their elementary schools in the process and the regional school buildings. Now, of course, that was before we had regionalized Blanchard with the school system. So now we're closing the loop. And at this time, I'm quite confident that we'll get Peter's materials back in the coming days.
Okay, all right, terrific, thanks.
So I did notice on this, it says adopted by school committee October 2024. Is it actually October, or are you going to escalate that?
I saw that this morning. That was a typo. It's just insert date here.
Okay, perfect. Okay, because I saw different things. I'm like, okay. So are you on the, are you on the school committee's agenda for a future meeting, or have you already been there?
So superintendents of regional school districts are authorized to sign these documents on behalf of the district. And given that Acton has previously adopted their own, we're hopeful that Peter will sign his without need to go before the board.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I did hear you say that. I was just making sure, because it said adopted by, that's all. But I did see on this one, the school superintendent signs. Okay. Any questions from the audience? No? Well, nice work. I really appreciate the three of you all, or and whoever else collaborating and bringing this to us. Are we ready to entertain a motion?
I thought they said that nothing was needed.
I'm sorry, what's that?
I thought we didn't have to do anything.
Yeah, because didn't the presentation say that nothing is needed on our behalf?
No, we still have to,
Still need a vote.
Yep, no, we have to make.
Yep.
Okay.
I don't know why, I can't hear anybody tonight. All right, I move to adopt the energy reduction and fuel efficient vehicles policy and authorize applications for a designation as a green community. Is there a second?
second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? And that is unanimous. We shall become a green community. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, another happy thing. Okay. All right, so next up, we're gonna skip over the grants. We'll do that afterwards. So next up is fire chief interviews.
So I'd like to invite up retired Chief Jack Parrow, who is our consultant for this, to join us at the table.
Hi, Jack, welcome.
Yes, thank you.
Welcome to Boxborough.
No, you're fine.
Madam Chair, I need a couple of minutes to swap things around now on the broadcast side.
Okay, no worries, we'll take a few.
So in the meantime, I think Jack is going to go over a little bit of guidelines for the board on what to expect.
Do you want that on this recording live right now, kind sir?
No.
I haven't switched it over to kill live broadcast yet, sir.
We'll give you, tell us when, Kirby, we'll take a.
No, ma'am, I'm
You can do it while there's nothing
very good,
secret.
thank you.
Yeah,
Want me to go?
sure.
Just talking to make this, you'll get nasty grant.
Well, thank you for having me. A lot of exciting things going on here in Boxborough, so congratulations on that. Tonight, we have three candidates that we're going to interview for fire chief. I have a set of 9 questions that I'd like to start out with to ask each candidate. So there'll be standard questions for the 3 candidates, and then we'd open it up to the board. I believe, Michael, we have 30 minutes for each candidate, so if we could kind of stay within that time frame. I know it's always difficult. I don't know if we want to alternate as we ask questions, from the board. They don't have, your questions don't have to be all the same to each candidate. Mine will be, so we can get a good baseline, and then anything that may come up with, an answer that they may have, or one of the questions I ask, or something that, you have a burning desire to ask, please ask the candidate. And so we have a good process.
So, so I just want to make sure I understand. Would you prefer to go through your 9 questions and then open it up to us?
Correct.
That's what I'm hearing, okay.
Yep.
And then we do tend to be a little organic, it's a little informal, and I as people feel the need to make a question or comment, let's just jump in and do that. So it's a conversation.
Yep.
We won't go A, B, C, D.
Okay, excellent.
Mike, you also,
Off the air at the moment now.
Oh, shoot, I was supposed to read.
but no, it's off the air.
That's going up on the screen, right?
Oh, never mind. Is this, for the interview portion of this meeting, the live broadcast will be delayed?
That's what's being seen right now.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know
See
that.
it.
Okay, all right. So for anybody in the audience, for the interview portion of this meeting, the live broadcast will be delayed. The interviews will be recorded but not live streamed for the purposes of making sure that each candidate has a fair and equal interview. The interviews will be available on Boxborough's on-demand channel for public tomorrow, once this meeting is finished.
Just a quick point of order, Mike, do you want to discuss what types of questions we should not ask?
Sure, we don't want to ask any medical or disability type of questions. We're not going to ask questions about family, about their marital status, anything like that. If something starts to go awry, Jack or I will jump in and probably cut you off, but we haven't had that problem in the past, so I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, don't ask about age.
It's gonna be me.
Or how close are you to retire? Don't be asking that.
So just to let you know, Jack is a retired fire chief, as I mentioned. He was here 2 weeks ago, with 4 other retired fire chiefs who worked with him for his company doing these fire chief assessments. They ran 6 candidates through an extensive 9-hour day of 5 or 6 different sections. Rajan and I were passive participants in the back observing. That followed the initial screening interview where we had community members here, along with Jack, who was asking the questions at that, and our consultant, Bernie Lynch. Those interviews for 6 candidates were held via Zoom. 6 candidates went to the assessment, and as he mentioned, the assessors, these 5 retired fire chiefs, have recommended 3 finalists come to you. Rajan and I actually agree 100% with their assessment of the 3 coming to you this evening. And your job will be to see if you can narrow it down to 1. If it's really close and you need more time, you do not have to make that decision this evening. But there is time for you to have that discussion once we go back on camera. Once you've interviewed all 3, any discussion, deliberation, and voting will be live recorded. And then we have an executive session scheduled for after the meeting if you get to the point of 1 candidate and we want to start talking about formulating a contract for the next chief.
And the candidates are in no specific order, alphabetical only. So.
Yeah. Ready for it? Ready for candidate 1?
Welcome.
This is Arthur Cheeks. I'd like to introduce to the board.
Arthur and Krista.
Nice to meet you.
Arthur David Buchanan, nice to meet you.
Bob Snuffle, you bet.
Yes, Sundaram, nice to meet you.
Have a seat right there. Well, thank you for coming tonight. Thank you for your interest in the fire chief's position for the town of Boxford and the Boxborough, Boxborough and the community of Boxborough.
Thanks for having me.
We have a series of questions to ask you over the next 30 minutes. At the end, there may be some questions from the select board and the town administrator. And if time allows, there may be time for you to ask some questions of us.
Sounds good.
Okay. We want you to answer, the questions fully but succinctly so we can get through the questions. I've prepared questions, about 9 prepared questions, and then we'll open it up to the board.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay. So I'd like you to start the process by telling us a little bit about yourself and why the town of Boxborough and the Boxborough Fire Department is a good professional fit for you.
So I grew up in Springfield, Mass. And my degree is in sports medicine. And from there, I was the director of sports medicine at a school in Connecticut before moving to Groton and working at the Groton School. I moved there in 2003. I started as a call member on the fire department there in 2007. From there, I developed a passion for it. It was something that I never thought in my mind that I would ever do. But there was something about being part of that team that called me. And after 24 years of working and living in boarding schools as director of sports medicine and assistant athletic director, I made the jump. The town of Boxborough is interesting, and the way I kind of attest to it is, it's for me, it's professional and personal, and what is going to be able to create the best life balance for me. I truly believe that there is a saying where do I take on new challenges or challenge the existing one? And professionally, I think this allows me some absolute growth. The challenges that currently exist within the department moving forward are something that are both intriguing, both professionally and personally, and something that I feel like there's a challenge that I can accept and succeed at, and keep the fire department moving in a positive direction.
Okay, thank you. What would you say your leadership style is, and why have you adopted this style?
You learn a lot from poor leadership, and I've said this numerous times. My leadership style is being collaborative, being transparent when I need to be, kind of an open door policy. I think it's important for all of us, any leader, to be able to put your ego aside and listen to those who have other experiences. The way I see a fire department, the way I see any department, is everybody has a role to play. It's a team. There's skill sets. Everybody has talents and ability and skills, and we need to be able to be open to listening to those individuals. They come from different backgrounds. They have different skill sets. As a chief, as a head of a department, you're limited in what your scope may be. There's a lot out there, and I think that for me, coming from a changing of careers, which was quite a daunting task, but coming from a different area, experiencing different settings, professionally and personally, really allow a person to take a different perspective on things. And I think as far as my leadership skills or leadership attributes are, it's being able to collaborate, being able to listen, be a sounding board, but also being fair enough and humble enough to ask questions when needed.
When it comes to budgeting, money is always tight. If you were appointed as the next fire chief in Boxborough, what sources outside of town funding would you pursue to help offset the cost to provide fire and EMS services?
I think first and foremost, you're looking at different grant opportunities. There's some that through the state that are And I have been fortunate to obtain and be awarded numerous grant opportunities within my 5 years as a deputy chief in the town of Groton. So between the state, you're looking at FEMA grants, which aren't as easy to obtain, but we have to look at different avenues to procure equipment that again they're gonna go over their lifespan. So being able to offset your budget without having to put in for those capital, major or minor capital expenses will assist in being able to help and buffer that budget opportunity.
Okay. And as a leader, especially coming in from the outside, if you were to get the chief's job, how do you make sure everyone in the organization knows what's expected of them?
First and foremost, and you have to invest in your people. I think the biggest thing that any leader can do is to ask questions, to get to know who they're working with. And the way I perceive this is, and the way I always tend to treat it is, as a fire chief, I work for the town, but I serve the firefighters. I serve my people. If you again give them or let them know that you have interest in them, they're going to support you as well. Being able to sit down, what has gone well, where being able to put together a plan for the department, to assess what the strengths and weaknesses and as well as the opportunities and threats to the department are. With that collaborative effort, with that information, is key to seeing where we are, where we've been, and where do we want to go. And I think that is important to have that information, as well as to be able to set forth expectations, knowing what challenges they see. Helps any newcomer that comes in to kind of get a sense for what needs to be done or what may be done, and it could be a year down the road and maybe 5 years down the road. But in trying to develop those strategic plans, incentives are key to anybody that's coming into the role.
Okay. What are your thoughts on professional development, both for yourself and department members?
I'm very much a proponent. I try to inspire all of my current coworkers to strive to increase the amount that they know, to improve upon their own personal skill sets. With that said, it's important to model that behavior as well. When I joined as a deputy chief in Groton 5 years ago, coming in late to the game in the fire service, I had to put my best foot forward. I had to put my foot on the gas to gain the knowledge, to bring me up to the level at which I needed to be. And again, being able to inspire others based on modeling that behavior, being able to sit with individuals and talk about what their goals are, both short-term and long-term. Where do they aspire to be? Where do they want to end up in 5 years? What promotions are they looking for? Are they looking for to move on, even if it's to another department? I think there's a lot of people that may shun that. If you develop your individuals and they end up being an officer in another department, you know what? Tip the cap to you. You did your job. Our jobs are to grow our next leaders. Our job is to train our replacements. So I think that it's very important that we provide them opportunities to learn those skill sets. We're talking from the newbie probationary firefighter to the senior officer as well.
If you had to list one thing you stand for as a leader, what would that be?
Fairness, trust. There's 7 virtues that I really take into account, and it's really kind of a cultural thing. It creates a balance of the culture within the department, and that's integrity, respect, compassion, courage, honesty, loyalty. These are all things that if you take them all together, they're going to set us up for a good path to kind of excellence as best as we can. If we develop those cultural attributes, as well as taking a look at where we can improve, I think that's where we need to be. I think as a leader, I have to stay true to that. Empathy comes into play. Again, understanding and knowing where your department members are coming from, understanding and getting to know and shake hands with their family members. I think as a leader, you have to, you're responsible. You have to take care of them. If you take care of them, they're going to take care of you.
If you were hired as the next fire chief, there might be some resentment from the membership on your appointment. How would you approach and overcome this matter?
For those individuals, I think you have to sit down. Communication is key at any level. You have to sit down and put everything on the table. I think that it's important for them to know where you're coming from and where they are coming from in order to find a place where it's a mutual respect throughout. The way I see it, anytime somebody comes through my office door, they have my respect. And it's up to them at that point if they're going to lose my respect. I think that, to say that respect is earned, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think for any individual, I come in here, I shake your hands. Why is that? Because I respect all of you. I don't know you from Adam, but I'm going to show you respect. Okay, and I think that's going to be the biggest thing. Whether or not there's some animosity, that's something we need to discuss and figure out why, and be able to come to a mutual ground to move on from that period.
Okay, if I was to call Chief McCurdy, what type of an employee would he say you were?
I would say, he would say that work ethic is above all else, selflessness. There are points where I would say I probably try to do too much. I think one of my biggest opportunities for growth are being able to delegate enough. And that's part of the challenge of this position. Coming from a different background where I was, maybe I had an assistant, but there was a lot that was on my plate, and I felt like a lot of it I had to catch and juggle out. So, being in a position as a leader, you have to be able to delegate. That serves twofold. One, it takes a little bit off your shoulders, but number two, it's providing opportunities for those officers, for those less experienced individuals to take ownership of the department. That creates pride. That creates a lot of transition for movement within the promotional stage, so that there isn't a big hiccup when those changes do occur.
Okay. This is my last question before we open it up to the board. We've had many interested and extremely well-qualified and experienced candidates apply for this job, including yourself.
Yes, sir.
Why should the town of Boxborough hire you as the next fire chief?
I think you're looking for somebody that can be innovative. I believe that throughout the process, many of the questions targeted around budget and how to find other sources to supplement your budget, finding other sources to kind of bring in a little bit more revenue. And I think an innovative person, a person who can think outside the box a little bit, is going to be the right choice for you. Moving forward, I try to invest myself in whatever town I'm going to live in. If appointed the chief of Boxborough, my goal is to be as involved and create an atmosphere and a culture that the department is as involved as it can be within the community. Any department that is within, whether it's school department, select board, highway department, you name it, that should mirror your community. And those values should be mirrored within every department. And I think that's something that I would like that I can bring. Being open-minded to different different suggestions, different ideas. Yes, there is a transition that's going to be Groton and Boxborough. While similar in some ways, they're obviously going to be different in other ways. For me, the challenge is something that's very intriguing. To be able to take a department and move it forward is also very intriguing. Like I said earlier, is it to take on a new challenge or challenge the existing one? And I find that Boxborough may have a little bit more growth to be able to, for me personally, improve my professional life, my personal life moving forward. And hopefully at that point, it can improve the community life as well.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to be a little bit informal. The questions can come from, anybody on the board. We have about 15 minutes,
Sure.
so let's open it up.
Go ahead.
Yeah, outside, first one, I'm a little confused just about, when were you appointed full-time deputy chief versus when were you lieutenant? How long have you been deputy chief?
I've been deputy chief going on 5 years now in Groton.
Oh, okay, because I saw lieutenant.
So I rose to the rank of lieutenant in 2010.
Yep.
I was still working, I was a call member, a
Yep.
call lieutenant. I was still working at the school at that point. In 2012, I had the pleasure of taking a year sabbatical from work. I came back 2013, became a lieutenant again in 2014 before moving to deputy chief in 2019. And so at that point, I left the school
Okay, so it was 2019, you were promoted to deputy
to
chief.
deputy chief full-time.
Okay, great. And at Groton, do they have full-time and call dependent?
Yes, it's a combination department. We have 8 full-time members, career members,
Yep.
and roughly 21 call members. Our daily operation is 2. We have 4 groups of 2 career members, supplemented by per diem, and the deputy chief would be the 4th.
Okay.
That's how we operate. Monday through Friday, 7A to, 7A basically.
Sure.
7 to 4 usually is the per diem and the deputy chief hours, and then it drops down to 2, supplemented by your call members.
Great. And
Can
then
I jump in on that?
I'm sorry, just my last question.
Okay, well, I just wanted to ask a question about the call and the full-time.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. How do you integrate the career professionals and the call to make sure that everyone feels they're part of the department? Like, how do you create a team environment?
Yeah.
Only because we have a similar.
No, absolutely. I think when I took the position as a deputy chief, I felt strongly that there needed to be an absolute bridge between the career and the call members. Before I got there, even a few years, there was a lot surrounded around, the career members are leading all the trainings and such. And again, we needed to have that role for those call officers too, and those call members. Like I said before, everybody has a different skill set. Everybody has different abilities. Giving them opportunities to lead trainings, to take on, we have an individual that is big into commercial building construction. Teach it. We have individuals that are big into energy storage systems. Super. Let's go to a training. Let's bring it back. Teach it. So that way we're not just listening to the same 8 voices all the time, but we're able to incorporate everybody else. Again, give them a role and they'll rise.
Thanks, Bob. It just was the
No, I
perfect time
agree.
to ask the question.
I agree. My last question is that it is what it is. Why are you looking to leave Groton?
I go back and I say, what is best for me at this point in my career? What is going to be provide me with the biggest professional advantage, professional goals, and be able to meet those, as well as personally. Like I said before, being able to gain experiences from different avenues, from different aspects is healthy. I think my experience prior to going full-time within the Groton Fire Department was a healthy move. And you got to take those experiences. Now, do I love Groton? Absolutely. Am I invested in Groton? Absolutely. I raised 3 boys there. Would it be difficult to leave Groton? Absolutely. And those are things that I have to weigh, right? But I truly believe that in order for a person to even excel at that stage, you have to take on new challenges. And I feel that Boxborough is a challenge that is welcoming, that is certainly a challenge that I find intriguing, and one that I feel like I'm up to the task to attend to.
Great, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Anybody else?
I have a question. So, as you know, or you may know, that we're looking to build a new fire station here.
Yes, sir.
What's been your experience in Groton with any fire station construction, or can you talk about that?
Yes, sir. So our fire station was opened up in 2014, what's that mean? That means, around 2014. So I was actually on sabbatical when that happened, so I wasn't there during that time. But as dealing with and working within the public schools, I had the tasks of being incorporated and adding my input in building athletic centers and new facilities within that. While different, obviously, has different aspects to it, some of it is very similar in design and things like that. So while not fully involved in being or building a fire station at this point, I think that that is something that, again, when we look at challenges, there's a big challenge in itself, right? Whenever you build a fire station, you're always going to come away going, wow, I wish we had one more bay. So I think that you have to take everything into consideration, and again, that's a challenge, and you work with those who have done it before. You seek out information. You go and scout out other departments' fire stations and figure, okay, what's going to be the best for us? What is going to be both financially, budget-wise, as well as looking forward, where are we going to grow? How can we operate? We don't need 1 billion trucks, but how many trucks do we need that can be multifaceted, multi-use, serve many purposes, as well as keeping in mind what the community needs are when you start designing those facilities.
Okay, thanks. So switching over a little bit to, so your goal, I mean, a lot of it now is a leadership role, a management
Yes, sir.
role, right? So how much time do you spend in ambulances, chasing around places in Groton?
So basically, I when I took the job as deputy fire chief, it was a riding deputy. So I would choose a day a week, and I would be on the ambulance. I would give people an opportunity. We have officers. Let officers be officers. I don't have to be in that officer seat all the time. Giving them the opportunity to take charge in a situation is key. That's how they grow. So I would take a step back from time to time and say, no, I'm going to ride the ambulance on this one. I need the skill work just as much as everybody else. So it would be, I would, and if we get doubled up on medical calls, there's no hesitation. You're doing a job. I'm here to provide a service.
Sure. Did you have 1 or 2 ambulances?
We have 2.
2. Okay.
Yes.
Thanks.
Wes?
So can you tell me about a time when you faced a significant challenge? How did you handle it? And what did you learn about your strengths and areas of improvement?
I think one of the biggest challenges I had was being able to change directions and career-wise. Like I said, that was probably the most difficult challenge that I had to face. And interestingly enough, it's not a scene, it's not an incident, it's dealing with yourself and having the confidence and to risk, the confidence to kind of challenge the unknown, not knowing what was going to come out of this move. And so you end up gaining a lot of confidence. You end up, I to be quite honestly, much happier. So you learn where that balance can be, both mentally and professionally within that. I would say that was the biggest challenge that I had. I could have easily remained at my other, within my other career and retired from it. But there came a time where I said, enough, I need a change. There was no looking back, no regrets in it at all. But being able to take on the risk and trust your gut and trust yourself and have confidence in yourself to make that move was the biggest thing.
I just have one question.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at a fire station or a fire department, what do you see right then, and what are you expecting to see down the road, and how are you going to go about getting what you want or what the department needs? What will be your approach?
First thing you should see is a building that is, or a structure or a department that's built around the community. I think that our job is to build relationships. Through those relationships and being able to invite people in helps them understand the why. So through that communication, welcome them in, take them on tours. Community outreach is huge. If, you know, the fire department, police department, highway department, they belong to the community. And the more that you can involve the community members and teach them about what we do, educate them about trends and you know, lithium-ion batteries or you know, wildland-urban interface, these things that are, you know, that climate change is influencing. Teaching them about that, bringing them in, educating them, they'll be on your side. They will jump on board if you just communicate and give them the reasons why. It may not be, like I said, it may not be in a year, but you put the bug in their ear and you're getting traction that way.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Just real quick, more medicals, more fire calls in Groton?
When I was looking at the call statistics for Boxborough, we're probably 1,500 is probably close to where we are even. We're probably I would say 60-40. 60-40 on the medical side. Again, we have a nursing home, assisted living facility. We have a Seven Hills, which is another 24-hour nursing care facility. So, but you know, those numbers are going to increase due to some structures that are going to be built, housing developments that are going to be built within the town. But right now, they're very similar. Obviously, 495 and Route 2 for you know they're probably frequent flyers out there heading out there on the highway, which we don't have to worry about so much in Groton. But we do carry a lot of medicals on us.
All right. Thank you for coming in tonight. Anything else, Jack?
Thank you for having me. I think that you know, the entire process has been very good. It's been very eye-opening, and I hope that I'll be hearing from you folks very soon. And you know, good or bad, doesn't change my impression of you folks. You're a class act, and I appreciate all the time that you've provided me and the opportunity to apply. Thank you.
Thank you for coming in tonight. Thank you. All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We're very polite here, very polite. Okay.
The chair that automatically goes down.
Look at the different shades then.
I made them sleep in the lunch.
Oh my gosh.
I think alphabetically the next candidate is John Kivlin. Yeah, John Kivlin.
All right. I think we are. Thanks.
See some of the firefighters came.
Yeah, I think so. I'm Kristen.
John Kivlin.
Nice to meet you.
I'm Dave McCann.
Nice to meet you.
Walks up and met him. Nice meeting you.
Priya.
Yeah. Who the hell are you? You have no idea.
So welcome.
Oh, thank you for having me.
John, thank you for coming in tonight to speak to us. We're going to have a series of questions over the next 30 minutes to ask you. We want you to answer them completely but succinctly so we can get through the questions. I have about 9 that I'm gonna ask you, and that should take about half the time, and then we're gonna open it up to the board to ask questions after that.
Thank you.
Okay? First, you can introduce yourself, and then I'd like you to start the process with telling us a little bit about yourself and why the Boxborough Fire Department and the town of Boxborough is a good professional fit for you.
Okay. Again, my name's John Kiplin. I've been a firefighter in the town of Chelmsford for the last 26 years. The last 10 years, I've held the rank of captain. In my capacity of captain, I've served as the fire prevention officer. I've served as the training officer. Currently serving as the shift commander for one of the groups. I'm in charge of. I have 13 firefighters that are assigned to my shift. I have a master's degree in public administration. I'm also a graduate of Merrimack College, where I received my bachelor's degree. I love this job. I love being a firefighter. I have a passion for this job. I've been on the state hazmat team for the last 20 years. I've served on the SOG committee, Standing Operating Guidelines Committee. I've been involved in the training committee. For the last 6 years, I've been elected by my peers. Within my team, we have 45 members. We go from chief officer down to firefighter. I've been elected by my teammates to be their team leader for the last 6 years. I've served on some specialty teams within the hazmat team. I've been an instructor at the fire academy for the last 10 years. Again, this job is the best job in the world. It's the best job I've ever had. I feel as though with the knowledge and experience that I've gained, that I feel as though I'm ready to take the next step in my career. I'm ready to give back in the capacity as fire chief for the town of Boxborough. I feel like now is the time that with my abilities that I have what it takes to influence, the ability to direct, the ability to be an effective leader for the town.
What would you say your leadership style is, and why have you adopted this style?
So, it's funny. The fire service is very dynamic, and I feel as though sometimes the leadership style has to be dynamic as well. When we are on a fire scene, the time for being democratic is really not there. You need to make quick, decisive decisions. So at times you have to be autocratic when you're on the fire scene. However, within the firehouse, I feel as though, me personally, as a leader, I want to mentor the junior members of the department. And dare I say that I'm becoming a senior member of the fire service, but unfortunately, that's the direction I'm heading in. That's the direction I'm heading in. Again, the job has been very good to me. I feel as though as a senior member of the fire service, it's my job to mentor and to start growing the new leaders of the fire service, those people that are going to be coming up behind us. So I want to have that mentoring leadership style amongst my coworkers and collaborative with the coworkers and collaborative with the town. I feel like when you get into situations when it comes to budgeting and equipment needs, that it shouldn't just be the top dictating down to those that are working with them. It should be, what are our needs? What do we want? What middle ground can we find to accomplish the goals that we're setting forth? What can I do to be collaborative with town administration when it comes time for making these requests? And how can we collaborate to bring the department forward to make it the best department that we possibly can? Not every side's going to always get their own way, but there has to be some type of collaboration, communication to find middle ground to keep pushing forward and not get, stuck in the mud, for lack of better terms.
When it comes to budgeting, money's always tight. If you were appointed the next fire chief in Boxborough, what sources outside the town's funding would you pursue to help offset the cost to provide fire and EMS services?
There are numerous grants that are available currently that are always options, whether it's the Assistance to Firefighter grants or other various grants, hazmat, the HMEP grants that we can always go after. There's Homeland Security money that is always attainable. Just always looking for alternate funding sources that you just trying to alleviate the drain on the stakeholders, the taxpayers, if you will. I've currently, within my role as team leader for the hazmat, I've recently obtained 2 grants, one through Homeland Security to obtain ballistic gear for our members that are assigned to the State Police Bomb Squad and that assist with them. And I also received a grant through the HMAP, which is the Hazmat Assistance Program, where we were able to obtain training. And it was training at the medical level for first responders, fire, EMS, police, private EMS, to be aware of, it was called the Toxic Medic Program. So we did 4 offerings of that to try to bring the EMS providers within our district up to speed to how to handle civilian injuries and also handle first responder injuries when it came to hazardous materials. So constantly looking for different funding sources, applying for grants, looking for just other ways, other means to generate revenue. Perhaps looking at the current permitting process. Are we permitting for everything that we could be permitting for? Does our permit schedule meet those around us? There's always different avenues to look at, and always different things to look at when it comes to generating revenue.
If you're appointed fire chief, you'd be appointed from the outside.
Yes.
How do you make sure everyone in the organization knows what's expected of them?
Well, it comes down to communication. Communicating what the expectations are, expressing what the expectations are, training on the expectations. Again, it's getting out, being out in front of it, speaking with everyone, getting to know. Everyone's going to learn what my expectations are, but I also have to learn what everyone's expectations of the chief is. So it's the act of listening and just being an active member and being involved and having that open communication that I can express what my expectations are, but they can also tell me what they expect out of their leader.
What are your thoughts on professional development, both for yourself and department members?
When it comes to myself, I think my resume shows that I am a big proponent of professional development. I don't think that we can train enough for this job. Constantly trying to better myself. That being said, I'm motivated differently than some other people may be, so it's trying to find things that motivate others to want to go out and become better as well. I think that trying to be that mentor and trying to develop that future of fire service leaders should be all of our goals. That we should be looking, right now, I'm sitting in front of you as an external candidate for a job inside your town. I would like to see a day where you are just so flooded with internal candidates that you don't know what to do, or the fact that you have people from within that are becoming external candidates elsewhere. I think that should be our mission. That should be what, as leaders, we should be striving for, is to, again, be developing those people within our ranks.
If you had to list one thing you stand for as a leader, what would that be?
Honesty and communication. I feel like so many problems can be alleviated just from talking, just from communicating, from open, honest communication. And as a leader, that's what I would strive for. I would like just that open dialogue, so that we can just keep conflicts at bay and keep moving forward as an organization.
If you were hired as the next fire chief, there might be some resentment from the membership on your appointment. How would you approach this matter?
Again, communication. Hopefully, through being present, being an example, I'll be able to win them over, that they'll be able to see what I'm all about, that I am about the job, that I will be an advocate for them, that I'll be a proponent of the fire services, trying to push it forward. Again, though, part of the administration team, yes, I would be the leader of the fire department, but I would still answer to the town administrator. And unfortunately, sometimes that comes with difficult decisions and difficult things that need to happen. But open, honest communication, explaining why things are going the way they are, explaining the things that perhaps maybe I advocated for but just weren't feasible at this time. I think that they would see that, I'm here for them and that I'd be working for them every day.
If I was to call Chief Ryan, what type of employee would he say you were?
I think he would say I'm passionate about the job. Yes.
So this is my last question before we open it up to the board. We've had interest from many extremely well-qualified and experienced candidates, yourself being one of those. Why should the town of Boxborough hire you as their next fire chief?
Because, as I said before, I feel as though that I have, through my education, through my experiences, I feel as though I have the knowledge and the experience to help push the town of Boxborough forward, you know, and the fire department forward. I think that I can be an effective leader for the fire department, and I also think that I can be a valuable member to the overall team of the community.
Okay. We have about another 20 minutes, so I'd like to open it up to the board for questions. It's going to be very informal, John. I might just run up and down.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for coming. I appreciate it. A couple questions and then a comment. Does Chelmsford have part-time or call personnel, or is it all a full-time personnel?
We are full-time.
Just full-time?
Yes.
All career members?
No, my exposure to call and volunteer firefighters is through my teaching down at the State Fire Academy, where I've been an instructor within the call and volunteer program.
You've been an instructor for the call program?
Yes, I instruct in the call and volunteer program down at Stowe.
Yeah, in Stowe, right, exactly. Then my second question is, which is, the question is what it is, why are you looking to leave Chelmsford?
It's not so much that I want to leave Chelmsford. I don't want, I'm looking to advance professionally.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking to take the next step in my career. I don't want to say challenged so much, but I just feel as though I'm ready to try to advance my leadership skills. I'm trying to be a better leader. I'm looking for just that opportunity. Don't get me wrong, I love Chelmsford. I have family on the department. I grew up on that department. I have best friends on that department. But for me, professionally, growth as an individual, I think that I need to branch out and look for opportunities so that I can, again, grow my experiences and my leadership skills.
Good. And then my last question is, as we've already gone through this whole thing, you're going to be the potential new fire chief. So the budget falls to you. Can you explain to me how much you've been involved in the budget process right now for the Chelmsford Fire Department?
So very limited with the budget. We get our updates from the chief. The majority of my budget experience comes through my education, achieving my Master's of Public Administration. Also through various classes I've taken, I took the FEMA All Hazards Finance Section Chief course. So that is primarily where my budget experience comes from.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome, thank you.
So, can you tell me about a time when you faced a significant challenge at work? How did you handle it, and what did you learn about areas for improvement?
Could be challenges every day. I'm trying to think of one in particular. There's
Pick an entertaining one.
It's difficult at work sometimes where you're the only officer on shift, and you're trying to mitigate issues, and you're still trying to think of the overall coverage of the community. I can think of one instance particular where I felt that trying to ensure coverage for the rest of the community, I overworked the crews that I had on scene with me at that time. We had a fire on a 4th floor of a residence, which if this were just a normal, ordinary construction, whether it was a cape or a ranch, we would have been able to handle that fire, but up on the 4th floor is a little bit more challenging. And striking alarms for more help, calling the working fire, getting more help there. It was too late by the time it had happened, and I had really overburdened my team. Now, move forward a year later, called to another building with a fire on the 4th floor, and just looking at my members' faces and knowing how beat up they were, I was a little bit quicker to strike alarms, trying to look out for the health and well-being of my members, and learn from the mistake that I had made in the past we got to deal with yes, we have to worry about the coverage for the rest of the community, but right now we have a problem at hand, and I have to be a little bit more cognizant of the health and well-being of the people that are there. And so it was a difficult balance, trying to learn that balance of acting locally, but thinking globally, but realizing, finding which way I need to go with it.
Luckily, we don't have many tall buildings. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Anybody else?
I have a couple of questions. I know being a fire chief, there are a lot of things that you probably have to juggle. How are you going to balance everything? What would be your strategy?
Well, I'm hoping that through mentoring and training and developing the relationships within the team, that oftentimes that after that I'd be able to delegate. I'm hoping that growing leadership skills and leadership traits within the team, that the balancing will become a little bit easier if I'm able to, kind of weigh what we have going on, which things need my immediate and direct attention versus the things that I can ask other people to do, that I don't feel the need to put everything on my shoulders and take on every task. I'm sure you have very capable people of handling various things within the department, so it's again, communicating, fostering those relationships, offering the training, and gaining that trust in the people that I'm working with to also be able to handle things when I am being called in a different direction.
My next question is, how would you look at your fire department now and maybe 10 years, 20 years down the road, and how would you go about advocating for your department?
So it's tough. None of us can really see into the future as to what the needs are going to be. It's just constant analysis. It's always looking at call volume. It's looking at population growth, current trends, current industry practices, trying to keep current with those different regulations to get put on us. We're constantly having to do a self-evaluation and a self-analysis to look to where things go. It's a really difficult balance to try to figure out how do we balance the needs of the community and the growth of the fire department. You really don't want one to outpace the other. It's not fiscally responsible for the fire department to outpace the community. But again, it's trying to make sure that the fire department doesn't fall too far behind with what the needs of the community are as well. So it's, again, we just constantly have to be looking at the data that's provided to us, analyzing it, making our plans, implementing our plans, and then reevaluating to make sure that we're going in the right direction.
How would you like to sell it to the community?
Well, that sometimes is not the easiest thing. Meet and greets, there's presentations that can be made, maybe having coffees with, open door coffee with the chief on certain days to have them come in and let's just talk. Let's sit across the table and talk to one another. Or it's going out formally to groups and having those PowerPoints. Who knows, 10 years from now, maybe we're talking about a different system that we're presenting on. You never know with AI and the different things that are coming about. But sometimes it's putting those formal presentations together as well and trying to plead your case as to why we're looking to go in the direction that we want to go in.
Okay. And my last question is, I know you've been a fire captain for a while now. What made you think of making the switch to a fire chief now?
It was actually, it's kind of funny. My peers, I have a lot of friends around in the area that are members of the fire service, and it was over when I had an assistant chief and a local chief come into my firehouse to have a cup of coffee with me and start asking me questions, and they were asking me, why are you holding back? What is wrong with you? And it was gaining the confidence. It was to, again, do that evaluation of myself. Do I feel like I'm ready? Do I have what it takes to try to be the next level of leader within the fire services? And again, it was through communication with two, very dear friends and trusted colleagues that I decided that now was the time to give it a shot.
Thank you.
First, I'd like to compliment you on your documentation skills. I mean, once you've got the training here and the detail is very, very impressive.
Thank you.
You must know a lot of people. I mean, with all the activities that you're involved in, the trainings that you've done, the schools that you've attended, you must know a lot of people. Have quite a network around this part of the state.
I've met a few. Yes, sir. Yes.
So, if you were to be the chief here, what would change for you in terms of I think you said you were doing training at the fire academy.
I am.
I mean, does that continue on, or is that something that Like, what changes for you?
So what changes for me is initially I need to learn this. I need to learn the job here. I would have to come in. It comes down to just listening and learning and finding out. So I could look all day in a book, and I could tell you every day from a book, how this is done or how that is done. But I need to see how it's done here. So I need to learn that. And then, as far as going back to other jobs, maybe in the future. There's plenty of opportunities to go back. They have nights and weekends within call vault to work that are outside the hours, so I'm assuming that the chief would work. Again, I need to get to a point where I know and understand this job before I'd want to commit to going back to another. If I'm in on something, generally I try to be all in, and I wouldn't sacrifice learning here to be down there.
Stowe's not that far away.
I know. But
it's the next town over.
Yeah.
We bought of them.
Yeah.
How are your PowerPoint skills?
I don't have my thumb drive. I wish I could show you a few. I've made a couple.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I have kind of a silly question. If I lived in your town, would I live in Chelmsford or Chelmsford?
Oh.
Chelmsford.
Do you want to live in North Chelmsford? I mean, it's. Do you want to be in 06? Do you want to be in the 01863 or 1824?
I just don't know. You tell me.
I know it's.
It's Chelmsford. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's Chelmsford.
There's no L. There is no L.
There is no L.
There's
The
no
L is
L.
silent.
Okay, well,
The L is
now
definitely
I know.
silent.
All right, how do you spell Boxborough? This is important.
So there's
How do I
actually no
spell?
How do you
official
spell
spelling.
Foxborough?
There's no official spelling, so there's two.
Yeah,
except-
Well, I was going to say, do you want me to?
I asked the question.
Do you want the official spelling or what's on the
I
highway?
want to know how you spell
Go ahead.
Foxborough.
The official spelling or what's on the highway signs?
No,
Okay.
how you would spell Boxborough. Come on, don't be dodging this.
No, I have it right here. I have it written right here. No.
Okay. All right. I told you I was going to be silly. So, all right. So we are a really different community than Chelmsford. So, see, I'm not from Chelmsford. What's the population there?
In Chelmsford?
Yeah.
We're 35 to 38,000.
Okay.
Yes.
So, and what I meant by a different community is that we are a bedroom community by design. We've zoned out pretty much everything besides houses.
Which is amazing considering that you're on the 495 belt, right? And between 495 and Route 2, it's amazing that you've been able to maintain your small town charm, if you will.
When I was a kid, I just wanted a McDonald's in the
That's
worst
all.
way. And my father led the charge that will never be a McDonald's here. But at any rate, so tell me how you would interact differently with the citizens, or maybe it's not differently. How would you interact with the citizens of Boxborough? Understanding that we're a town of 6,000. We're small. A lot of us know each other. There's a lot of, I joke we're Hotel California. You move in, you never move out.
Right.
I'm serious. Like, people stay. So how do you approach moving from the multi-level buildings with fires on the top floor to my grandson's cat is in the tree and could you help him? It happened. It happened last week, okay?
My approach to what I do is very simple, is I try to treat everybody like I'd be treating my grandparents or my family members, or how, and that's how I've always approached the job, is just being me, treating people with the empathy and the respect that they deserve during tough. People are people no matter where you go. It doesn't matter if it's Chelmsford or Boxborough, right? And when they call us, they're calling us at what is, maybe it's not, looking back at the types of calls that maybe I've been on, maybe it's not the worst call I've ever been on, but it's the worst thing that maybe they're going through at that time. And understanding that and treating people that way, and having that empathy for them and just being there for them and showing them that you care. And that's how I've gone about my career, and that's how I would continue to go about my career. I don't feel like I would change that in the slightest. I think that you just want to treat people the way that you would expect to be treated when you call for help.
Thank you. And please know, I was really, truly talking just about the difference in size and breadth than what you'd probably experience in a day. I wasn't saying we were different people. It was different things going on. No shade. Wasn't casting any shade. So, do you do much interaction with the community in Chelmsford?
every day. I'm out.
Well, I mean, like,
well,
are you going to council on aging luncheons? Are you stopping in the school? Are you?
We do
know.
all of those things. I wasn't working when it recently happened because, obviously on the rotating schedule, sometimes you just miss opportunities for things, but they have veterans breakfasts. We do a thing where we've been going down with the police department and doing like high fives with the school kids as they're going into the elementary school. When different senior housings hold breakfasts or hold luncheons for us, we go and we sit with them and we talk and we thank them for having us. And yeah, we do all of those things. We get out active in the community, and we're a part of that community, so we try to be as active as we possibly can.
Because I think that's what our community likes. Mike has experienced that as new to our town in the last year. You could probably speak to that a little bit, that we want you to engage. So that's something
Yeah, it's true. I spend a lot of time at community meetings, meeting people. I think I've met, I don't know, probably at least half the people in town in the year and a half I've been here, and it's been wonderful because now I recognize a lot of people, and it's tough as the new person coming in. Everybody recognizes you because the first time they saw you was on TV when you interviewed.
Right.
So they know your name,
People
they
are
know
watching.
your
People are
background,
watching, yeah.
but it doesn't take long, and people around here, you get to know them, and you get to know not just the personality of the town, and the character of the people, and it's kind of neat.
So the engine company that I spent most of my career working at, it just happened to be in the neighborhood that I grew up in. So it's nice to be familiar with people prior to the first time you get called to their house in an emergency, and sometimes it actually makes things a lot easier for them when they see that familiar face come through the door. It kind of eases the tension, and it makes them feel better about it's not a stranger coming into my house. I have that personal connection with this person, and I know what their intentions are, and that they're here for me. So, yes, getting out in the community, being familiar with the residents, it's invaluable sometimes for us as a tool for when we have to deal with them in that emergency situation. So, something I strongly encourage and endorse.
Thank you. Anybody else have anything?
Yeah, you probably know, we're going to be looking to build a fire station.
I saw that.
Have you had any experience with fire station construction in
Yes.
Chelmsford?
So I was on the station committee back in 2007. It was actually a joint fire and DPW station committee for basically selecting our project manager, doing our location study, looking at geographical information systems, doing our needs assessment, presenting to the community, trying to sell it to the community as to the need for it, talking about the different ways of funding it, whether it was going to be an override or a debt exemption. I was involved in all that with the current firehouse I'm in now. We've been in there now though since 2014, and then we recently did a remodel of one of our stations up in the north side of town in North Chelmsford. Wasn't as active with that from our original committee, which was a fire DPW needs assessment committee and planning. That is when we finally had the birth of our permanent building committee, which I, at the time, had enough going on. I didn't need to take on every building project in town, but I wasn't involved in those initial stages of our current fire headquarters.
How many stations do you have?
We have 5.
5 stations?
Yes.
So you built a new headquarters,
Yes, we built the new headquarters, yes.
and then engine 2 up in North
Yes.
was remodeled.
It was. So it was difference between brand new standard, like sticks construction, brand new construction versus the engine 2 was a modular construction building, which it's a little bit different, but it was just, the town looking at all the options, all the different viable options for building up the infrastructure.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming in
Oh,
to see
thank
us.
you guys. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it. Hopefully, I look forward to working with all of you in the future.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
We are right on time.
Are you proud of me? I hope
See
you are.
how-
I'm
see-
sure they all
see
do.
how
I
well
hope
we
you on
do?
time.
We're right
Ow.
on time.
I actually felt bad. In the middle of one of his sentences, I looked at the clock, only because it wasn't about him, it was about me. Like I wasted 3 minutes on how to say Chelmsford, which I'm still saying wrong.
So the next and
And
last
you know,
candidate
it's
is
Chelmsford.
Robert
Chelmsford.
Roller.
Chelmsford. It's all-
What's that?
Robert Roller.
I grew up on Chelmsford Street.
Oh my goodness.
It's, if the LM becomes an N, Chelmsford.
Chelmsford. And you all ruined the OUGH. It was a test. That was probably the most important test.
Well, I was once.
You all ruined it.
I just want to know how we spelled it. He didn't give us an answer.
I saw that. Yeah, we are. Thank you. Just, sorry, I have offers coming in tonight. Received. Welcome, welcome. I'm Kristen. Nice to meet you. Rob, nice to meet you.
Good to see you again. Dave McKiernan, nice to meet you.
Bob Sumner. Nice to meet you.
Priya Sundara, nice to meet you. Okay, so you go by Rob.
Rob,
I do.
Rob.
Yes.
Okay. Well, welcome. Thank you very much for being here tonight.
No, thank you for having me.
Oh, anytime.
so Rob, we have a series of questions to ask you over the next 30 minutes. We want you to answer them completely but succinctly so we can get through the questions. I have about 9 questions, and then we're going to open it up to the board so they can ask questions. That'll be somewhat informal, and we'll just, go up and down the line for questions. So I'd like you to start by first introducing yourself, so we have you on TV, but and then start the process by telling us a little bit about yourself and why the Boxborough Fire Department in the town of Boxborough is a good professional fit for you.
I'm Rob Woolner. Sorry, actually, I'm a little nervous.
You know what?
But I'm Rob
good.
Woolner. I am been a firefighter for 19 years. I'm currently serving with the Belmont Fire Department as a captain. With the Belmont Fire Department, I've served in every position that the Belmont Fire Department has. I've been a firefighter in every company. I've been a company officer on every company. I've been the training officer and the assistant fire prevention officer. I've been, when I made captain, I became a shift commander, and now I am the fire prevention officer, where I handle code enforcement, inspections, issuing permits, and things along those lines. The only role that the only role I've never held is that of a chief officer. In Belmont, the fire department does not have the rank of deputy chief. So in Belmont, similar to our community here, captains fill that role that would be held by a deputy chief in a more traditionally organized fire department. I've been an instructor up until recently for about 16 years at the State Fire Academy, where I primarily taught in the recruit program and the Call Volunteer program. I've also taught in RIT, which is the Rapid Intervention Team for firefighters that have to issue a mayday. These are the firefighters that go in to help rescue them. So I've taught in that program, in addition to the fire officer program. I worked in the private sector for a number of years in financial services. I was an analyst for State Street, and company was Russell Mellon, which has now been absorbed by Bank of New York Mellon. I was an analyst there. I served 2 years in the state legislature in New Hampshire as a state representative for one term, and that was enough. And then I served.
We're all wondering why we're sitting here.
Yeah, I
Bob's new.
And
Give your water.
I served for 7 years in the Navy. I did 4 years in active duty and about 3 years in the reserves.
What's a cryptologist?
A cryptologist? A cryptologist basically.
Cryptography.
Cryptography, yeah. But it was intelligence communications. So I'm not a linguist, but the people I work with would be tasked by NSA to listen to different frequencies, and then if they found something of interest, they would give it to me, and then I would disseminate it wherever in the world they needed to go.
Thank you.
So it was kind of interesting, but we could talk about that in 70 years. Yeah. So.
That is 20 years.
No secret stuff.
No secret stuff. No secret stuff. So why would I be a good fit? I think that was the next question, Chief.
Yes, good fit for the town and the fire
For the town.
department.
Sure. So basically, so I'll answer the question like why do I want to be the fire chief? Because I want to make a difference. I've been able to make a difference most of the places I've been over my professional career. I've made a big difference being in Belmont. With the different roles that I've had, just the undertakings that we've enacted, like new inspection measures, helping to just make the public and our firefighters safe. I think with my background, I think it'd be a good fit for the community. Belmont, although very different from our community here, is very similar actually in a lot of ways as well. Belmont has a larger population, about 25,000 versus the 5,500 here. Belmont Fire does around 4,000 calls a year versus the 1,500 here. But the Belmont's 4 square miles, where you're 10 plus. The people in Belmont, I think, are very similar to the people here. Belmont is an affluent community. It's very well educated. It places a high emphasis on education, as it should. And I know Boxborough does the same. And I think the demographics of the people that make up the population of Belmont is also very similar to the population here. Being the fire chief, that's been a career goal of mine for the 19 plus years I've been in the fire service. I work really hard, really hard. I want the organization that I work with to succeed. I have a strong attention to detail. I'm approachable. I think I have a good working relationship with all the stakeholders in my community, whether it's the TA, the chief officers, my fellow firefighters, the business owners in town. We have a very good relationship with everyone, and helps helping to make the community succeed. The organizational structure here in Boxborough is different from the community I'm coming from, where the chief officer in larger communities are more administrative. What I really am excited about here is it's a much smaller department. I think your career firefighters here is smaller than the group I used to be the shift commander of. But it allows you, as a chief officer, you're a working chief. So the expectations are different. That you're not, in larger communities, the chief officers are only going to be responding to the larger incidents, where here in Foxborough, you can still get your hands dirty and still be going on the calls and going on the runs with the guys. And that's, I love that. Sometimes being in the office, it's not always fun, but having that opportunity to be out on the street with the companies when they're working is really something I would really would enjoy. So, if
Okay.
you have any questions?
What would you say your leadership style is, and why have you adopted that leadership style?
Sure. So I know there are like the textbook answers of a half dozen or so different leadership styles. If you're studying for lieutenant or captain, those are always the questions, the different leadership styles. If you had to pick one of those, the one I really like the most is transformative leadership, where you help people succeed. The people that you work with, you want to increase the bar. You want to help raise them up so that they can be successful in whatever their career goals are in the organization. If I'm selected to be a chief officer, there's going to be a day when I'm not going to be here anymore, and I want to have people in line, whether the junior privates or the senior command staff, that are ready to take over when the time comes when I'm not working with you anymore. And part of that leadership style is helping get those people ready, whether it's through training, mentoring, coaching them, getting them into the correct programs at the State Fire Academy or the National Fire Academy, so that they can be ready to take on that next challenge in their career. With that being said, those half dozen or so different leadership styles is not always appropriate at any given time. You have to be dynamic. You have to be able to change. You have to be able to choose the leadership style that's appropriate for the situation that you're facing at that given time. So if you don't want to pigeon yourself into just one leadership style, saying this is what I believe in, this is how I work, you have to be a bit more dynamic, because every situation kind of may dictate a different type of response.
Makes sense.
Okay. When it comes to budgeting, money's always tight. If you were appointed the next fire chief in the town of Foxborough, what sources outside the town funding would you pursue to help offset the cost to provide fire and EMS services?
Sure. So we all want to do more with less, whether it's the public sector, whether it's the private sector. But at some point, we're just doing less with less, and the fire service is probably a good example of that. On the fire ground, you need bodies to be able to do the job. With a smaller department like ours here, we're going to be limited to what we can do. We're not a large department, but what we can do financially to help do more with less is one of the exercises that we did with Chief Parrow, is take a look at the ambulance service. Actually, that was my capstone project when I was in grad school, was taking a look at the Belmont EMS system and where we could make money, where we were losing money. Was it going to be efficient for us to put a second ambulance in service? And what the cost benefits were of that type of scenario. My research was showing that in Belmont, putting a second ambulance in service, the town would have lost about $250,000 a year. But you would have the increased service to the community of having a second ambulance and not having to rely on outside partners, either from mutual aid or from private ambulance companies, to help our community. And so then the community is tasked with the option of kind of what's most important and what can you realistically do with the resources that are available. So I think, to answer your question, Chief, what can we do? I think you can take a look at your ambulance revenue. When I did the exercise, taking a look at your numbers, just by increasing the amount that the Foxborough ambulance charges just for mileage is greatly underfunded, undercharging the going rates. If you take a look at Belmont, or I took a look at Manchester by the Sea, which I know geographically is not close, but the department organization is probably more on par with here. And I believe with those numbers, Foxborough could make these numbers in front of me. There's several $100,000 more that you could make in just changing your matrix for how you bill for mileage. And if you change the BLS rate, again, that could change your numbers also. So you're only collecting a fraction of ambulance revenue of what you actually could be. So that's something to take a look at as the chief, kind of what our resources are, what our billing numbers are, and where we can put ourselves on par with comparable communities in Eastern Massachusetts to help generate the revenue that ultimately goes into the town's coffers. It's also not preface, but I'll say, it's not about the numbers. Providing this type of service, it's not supposed to be a moneymaker for the town, but the fact of the matter is, it is. It is. In Belmont, the one shiny red ambulance that we have will generate in the ballpark about $1 million a year. Yeah. In Boxborough, you're not seeing those numbers. Again, you have a different type of call volume, but you can arguably generate more money by billing insurance at a higher rate than what you currently are, and that can certainly help the community use that money for other funding items. Outside resource, again, the Mass Fire Academy is an incredibly valuable resource for the fire service. The courses we take there are tuition free. When we have new recruits that are hired, you send them to the Mass Fire Academy at no cost. The town's on the hook for paying their salary and benefits while they're in the training program. But other than that, there's no additional cost to the community for tuition for sending them to the school. And then once they've graduated from either the recruit or the call volunteer program, the Mass Fire Academy offers continuing ed courses over the course of your career, also at no charge. For the chief officers, Chief Parrow is an alum of the Chief Fire Officer program, earning that designation, which helps prepare senior executive fire officers for the role of being the department head. The National Fire Academy has a similar program that's much more intense, with longer duration, with their Executive Fire Officer program, which is the equivalent of a graduate level degree that also for no cost to the communities. FEMA, I believe it is, that picks up the cost of that program and helps train our people to be ready for the challenges that the position presents.
Okay. If you were selected as the next fire chief, you'd be an outside chief.
Yes.
How do you make sure everyone in the organization knows what's expected of them?
So, coming from the outside, that's a unique set of challenges. You weren't not from the community. You're not one of the guys that's worked with me for the last 19, 20 years. So you develop those relationships with the local. You work with your senior staff. You work with the per diem firefighters and the call firefighters, making sure that we're all on the same page. You set those expectations that they're clear, but you're also at the same time you're listening. Because if I'm coming in as the chief here, I don't know your community as well as our people do in the back of the room. They know how Boxborough works. They know what doesn't work here. Some ideas that I might come in with, they may be like, whoa, let's slow this down. And being able to listen to the people that have been here is important. There may come a time where we're going to have to agree to disagree, and that's understood. But having an open two-way dialogue where you're having a good communication on both sides of the table, I think that's how you achieve success with the stakeholders within the department.
Okay. What are your thoughts on professional development, both for yourself and for the department members?
Yeah. So again, I was an instructor at the State Fire Academy for 15, 16 years. Continuing ed, professional development is important. I have my fire chief credential from the Commonwealth already, but looking to get the CFO designation, participating in that program through the Mass Fire Academy. If accepted into the EFO program, the Executive Fire Officer program at the National Fire Academy. Those programs, it's a lot of time, it's a lot of effort, but I believe they also pay dividends for the community, having somebody that's trained to that higher level of training that you're just not able to get on your own.
What about department members?
I'm sorry.
Department members?
Department members, again, kind of going back to the first question, like with the transformative leadership, getting people trained to the level that they want to be at. If they aspire to rank, working with them and mentoring them, so that they are, if you're a new firefighter and you want to be a lieutenant or work up to captain, or if the deputy chief rank were to come back, getting the people ready so that they're ready to take on that next chapter in their career, having them trained and prepared to do so. Again, there's plenty of courses through the Mass Fire Academy, but then there's also the academic programs that are offered around the Commonwealth. The state community colleges offer associate in fire science. Bridgewater State, I'm sorry, not Bridgewater, excuse me, not Bridgewater. Salem State offers a bachelor's program. And then there's also Anna Maria of a private college in Paxton, the chief and I are both familiar with, where I earned my master's in public administration from, with a concentration in fire service. And then there's also online colleges and universities around the country. And all of these programs also help develop our firefighters so that they're ready for that next chapter in their career, if that's something that they want to take advantage of.
Okay. If you had to list one thing you stand for as a leader, what would that be?
Again, I think it's kind of regurgitating some of my previous answers, but what I really stand for as a leader is supporting the people that I work with. I want to make sure that they have what they need to succeed. I want to make sure that they have what they need to be safe. Again, sometimes when we were sitting across the table from the local, I was the president of my local for 6 years. But sometimes I know my chief officers, we just have to agree to disagree on some things, or with the TA or whoever we're negotiating with. But making sure that our firefighters have the training, have the equipment, the skills that they need to be successful. Because if our firefighters can't be safe, they can't keep the public safe. And that's really what it comes down to. So one of my primary responsibilities and obligations is going to be to our firefighters, to make sure that they have what they need so that they can do their job effectively and safely when the time arises, so that they can keep all of us safe.
Okay. If you were hired as the next fire chief, there might be some resentment from the membership on your appointment. How would you approach this matter?
So what I did prior to applying, I reached out to the president of my local and asked him to reach out to the president of the local here to ask if there would be any opposition to me putting in, being an out-of-town member, to put in for the chief's position here. And when the two presidents were talking, they said there was no opposition. The state labor union, the PFFM, the Professional Firefighters of Massachusetts, often at the locals' request, will put out a stand-down letter, asking members of the PFFM not to put in for positions that some communities feel they have internal candidates that are qualified to fill the role, and they don't want outside candidates. My community, when we were seeking our last chief, put out one of those letters. Foxborough did not. I checked beforehand, so hopefully by going that route, that will kind of soften the blow to some of the people that may have been seeking the position that, for whatever reason, weren't selected. But also, one of the things I can do, kind of going back to what I was talking about, if those people that weren't selected this time still seek aspire to the higher rank, I can work with you. I can work with you to help make sure you get all those boxes checked, so that, you know, whether it's here or in another community, when the time comes, you're ready to take on that role as a chief officer.
If I was to call Chief DeStefano, what kind of employee would he say you were?
Terrible.
Terrible.
I'll see you later. Bye.
I have a really great relationship with him. I know he doesn't want me to leave Belmont, but he understands why I'm looking to further my career. He will tell you that I'm a hard worker, that I stay late, I come in early, I have a strong attention to detail, that I have, like I mentioned before, I have strong working relationships with the other stakeholders in town, whether there are other departments in town, you know, facilities, health, police, the water department, you know, all of our stakeholders, and then our realtors, you know, the people that come in for their real estate inspections, when they're trying to sell a house.
Oh, they're annoying.
What's that?
I'm teasing.
I'm
a realtor, so I'm saying I've got it.
Okay, yeah, so, you know, like coming in for the 26Fs and doing those inspections.
The closing is tomorrow. Could you come right now, please?
Hey.
See how this conversation goes, and we'll talk about that later. Having those good relationships with the town, and all of our stakeholders in the community is really important to, like I said, kind of helping the entire community succeed.
Okay. This is my last question before we open it up to the board. But we've had interest from many extremely well-qualified and experienced candidates, yourself being one of them.
Thank you.
Why should the town of Boxborough hire you as their next fire chief?
So, this is something I've been working for like I said, for 20 years. I think if you take a look at my my resume, everything I've done for the last better part of 2 decades, it's been trying to better myself so that I'm ready to take over the role of a chief officer. My side job, I taught at the fire academy. I'm not a gifted tradesman. I'm not a plumber. I'm not an electrician. I'm not a carpenter. I'm not a landscaper. I mean, if you saw my lawn, you would agree with that. But this has been my goal to advance my career to this point. Boxborough is a wonderful community. You have a really strong fire department. I've helped train some of your firefighters over the years. The organization, the department, the fact that it's a smaller organization, I think I can have a larger impact. And that's just something I really would look forward to if the opportunity presented itself.
Okay. We're going to open it up. We have about 6-7 minutes. If we want to stay within the half hour, the chairman, you can do whatever you'd like.
You know I will. No, I'm kidding. Any questions for
I'll
Rob?
I'll start. Right now, the Belmont Department is all full-time career firefighters. There's no call per diem firefighters.
No, it's the Belmont Fire Department's 55 uniformed career officers, firefighters.
55. Are all the 55 firefighters EMTs?
It's a combination of EMTs and paramedics. So I'm an EMT basic,
Right.
but the newer hires, we've been trying to hire paramedics the last decade or so, and it seems like the last 5 years or so, that's been an increasing challenge. Around 2012-13 or so, when we started our ALS program, our Advanced Life Support Paramedic program, we had people tripping over themselves to get in the door. But over the last couple of years, more and more fire departments have elevated their level of service in the EMS world to paramedics, and so the paramedic list for the Commonwealth has dropped substantially, those numbers. So we're only seeing a fraction of the numbers of candidates for firefighters, for paramedics, I should say, than we saw a decade ago. And getting those people in the door, sometimes it's hard.
So because you're advertising for police?
So right now we have cards out for paramedics and EMTs, and right now the paramedics just are not coming in, so we're hiring EMTs because we just can't get paramedics.
So because one of the things you mentioned was the billing, how you could, how
Yeah.
you increase and how you think Boston could
Yes.
increase it. I'm assuming you're billing at an ALS rate?
It depends on the call. So
We are billing for both?
Yep, so there's a BLS rate, and then there's an ALS 1 and ALS 2, and it depends on the type of call that it is and the type of interventions that the patient would be receiving.
Yeah.
So depending on the type of call, if it's just the big red taxi ride from home to the hospital with no interventions, that's going to be probably the BLS rate. If it's a more severe medical event that's going on, cardiac or respiratory or something along those lines, a significant trauma, then you're looking at the advanced life support and those higher rates. But you would not have the ability to bill at those rates because right now you're running a BLS service.
Right. And then my last question was, how much or how little are you currently, right now, involved with the budget for the department?
With the budget for the chief officers handle that.
Okay.
So I am not, I don't get a seat at the table for crafting the department's budget. But I do have budgetary experience from my time in the legislature.
Right.
And other places, but the honest, quick, short answer, which I'm not giving, is with the fire department in Belmont right now, I don't have a seat at the table.
Perfect. That's great. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Rob, what about grant writing? When we talked about money before, are you involved in writing any grants?
Again, so the Belmont Fire Department, the chiefs are the grant writers for the department.
Okay.
I do have some grant writing experience from undergraduate and graduate level academic courses that I've taken. I know the process. I know where the resources are to seek help for those for the grant writing. I have a lot of connections just from teaching at the State Fire Academy for other chiefs around the Commonwealth. And so I'm fairly comfortable with my ability to be able to write grants and to be successful getting that money for the community.
Okay, all right, thanks. And as I've asked the other candidates too, we're looking to build a fire station.
Yes.
Have you had any experience
Yes.
doing that?
Not on the construction side, but so we have. I still call them two. We have two new fire stations in Belmont, but those new stations are now 18 years old. But they, compared to where we were before, they're much newer. Probably the better answer for your question is right now we're in the process. Belmont, we just brought online a new high school, middle school project in the last 2 years. It was open in phases. The high school opening 1 year. The middle school actually is just completing its first year in the building. It's a shared building with one wing for middle school, one wing for high school. The town of Belmont is in the process of building a new municipal skating rink and also a brand new public library. So I've been involved with the plan review in the permitting of all that's going through all the architectural plans, kind of scrubbing through those for the sprinkler systems and the fire alarm systems, and for both buildings, and then working with the architects, the building committees, all the stakeholders that are at the table right now to help develop systems, come up with different ideas of what's going to work and what isn't going to work. We have some of our buildings has strict confines by the property boundaries of the footprint that we have to work with, which can be challenging. It can be challenging. So I do have some experience working with that. Having the day-to-day contacts with the GC and the town's representatives and the building committees and things like that. Yeah.
Anybody else?
Thanks.
My only question is, how will you, when you look at your fire department, what are you looking at when you see it on today, 10 years down the road? How will you advocate for things that needs to happen?
So part of that's a discussion with the town. Do we all want to have a large fire department? Myself, my friends in the back of the room, like to have a large fire department where you have 2 engines, ladder truck, a transporting ambulance, a deputy or a captain in the car responding on every call. Yeah, we would. Would you like to have the budget that Boston or Cambridge or Massport has? You bet, absolutely. But that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. So it's a conversation with the town as to what type, what are we looking at? Are we looking at a lot of development in the community that might increase our property tax revenue? that can help fund additional firefighters. It's taking a look at what are the target hazards in the community and what's appropriate. What is our relationship with our neighbors look like when we talk about mutual aid? So there's a lot of different pieces of the puzzle. Again, it's having those conversations with the select board, with the TA, and all of the people in the community. The kind of what type of service do you really want from us? The Commonwealth requires every community to have a fire department, but it does not give guidance as to what that fire department looks like. We've chosen here to have a smaller department that relies more on a small career staff and a larger per diem firefighters. Other communities, just with different resources, can have a different model. And so it's really just having that discussion about what does the community want, what level of service we want to have. Like I said, they started to say that the Commonwealth tells us we have to have a fire department, but doesn't say what it looks like. So theoretically, your fire department could be the fire chief riding down the street with a bicycle and a glass of water, and that's your fire department. That's what the town wants. I'm not advocating for that, but that's. But
Mike, we don't want. We don't want.
Well, you just kind of segged beautifully into my question, which will be the last question.
Sure.
You actually talked about smaller organization and bigger impact, and it's true. Tell me a little bit about how you interact with your community now, understanding that Belmont is much bigger, much more urban. We're a little more spread out, a little more, smaller, but it's important to us that our chief interacts.
Right. So you want to, if you're the chief officer, you're the department head, you want to be a vital part of the community. You would be accessible to the community. When people in town call, they're going to be talking to me. They're not going to be talking to my admin. They're not going to be talking, if you want to call the fire chief, you're going to be talking to the fire chief. We're going to be a visible presence in the community. One of the things that we do in Belmont, I don't know if, I apologize, I just don't know if we do this in this community, is that we have block parties where people can take a permit out, they shut down the street, and when the town receives the application for a block party, one of the things that we do is we reach out to the organizer to say, hey, do you want us to show up? Do you want us to bring some apparatus for the kids to kind of see? And and sometimes the adults are like, nope, we're not that type of party. But other times, people really get excited because now, like the fire department came to their event. Their kids got some one-on-one time with us, and that just helps bond those community partnerships. It's things like that. It's other things where we're going into the community, whether is through our inspection program or just our routine runs. Like I often, you've heard this countless times. That you don't have that second chance to make a first impression, and that's true. I've been on some calls like some of our guys are not the guys you want being the public face of the department. Some of the knuckle draggers we don't always want talking. Just do your job. Let's be quiet. Other people are much more eloquent and are probably a better public face, and it's working with everyone to make sure that they have the skill set to interact with the public in a way that's appropriate.
All right, perfect. Anything else? Thank you for coming in tonight.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. It's nice meeting all of you.
Yes.
And I will say, I have met the other two candidates during the assessment center, and if you don't select me, I think they're both very gifted, very talented people, and so I don't think you can make a bad choice. So, but thank you for the opportunity to come meet with you tonight.
Say that, yeah.
Thank you.
Have a great rest of your night.
Okay.
Thanks.
You're welcome to stay.
Only if you want to. It's totally voluntary.
Last time they did. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
We don't care.
All right, let's just see if they're still here, if they want to come back up. Yeah, feel free to grab a seat,
Ready to
grab
go
your
back?
water.
Ready to go back on camera?
Yep. Okay.
Give me just a minute.
All set? All righty. I think Rajan was just going downstairs to see if the other two candidates were still here, if they wanted to come back and join us. So we'll just give it a minute. Anyone need a bathroom break or anything? Sorry, Kirby. I didn't see your text, sorry.
No, that's fine. I just didn't watch it, because we don't have the nanny this week, so I had to wait for Liz to get home, because you don't want to be the one that abandons your kids when the house burns down.
No, it's not a good thing, not a good thing. I agree. Are they here? They're gone. They're gone. Oh. All right.
Oh, they're gone.
Okay.
All right, we'll just wait for Priya and Bob to come back, and are you gonna guide us? Who's guiding the discussion?
I can certainly, I think it's a free discussion, but
Free
amongst
for
you,
all? A free for
I
all?
can certainly kick it off.
Okay, we'll do that.
Once Priya and Bob get back and Kirby gives us the thumbs up.
Chad, thanks for everything.
Oh, no, we're already out.
Okay.
Oh, we're just waiting for Priya and Bob.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
I would say good time for everyone to stretch. We're up and studying.
It's a long meeting.
Yeah.
7th inning.
7th inning. Oh, should we sing Sweet Caroline?
No.
Okay. I was all excited. Shut down. So good, so good, so good. Hey, and who watched the Celtics last night?
I did.
We didn't.
I watched the whole thing.
Did you watch the whole thing?
I did. I watched
Wow,
it. It was
that's
first.
stamina.
No, it wasn't that bad because it didn't go that long. Because I didn't know how long they went. I mean, it didn't go that long. It was over like 10:30. So.
Oh, that's not that bad. I was asleep by 9:30.
It's not like the Red Sox or the Patriots where they go until 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, that's harsh.
No.
Give us one more minute. We're still on a little break. Fast forward. That's right. This will be recorded, right?
Yeah.
People can fast forward.
No, I didn't know.
Alrighty. Okay. Mike,
Okay.
you want to get us organized?
Sure. So as I said from the start, we had a great pool of applicants. We had 16 applicants. We interviewed 6. I had 6 go through the assessment center, and as you can tell, we have 3 highly qualified, experienced, educated candidates. So I don't expect this to be an easy discussion, but the good thing is, I think within this year, all 3 of these gentlemen are going to be chief. And one of them you can select to be chief here. If you're ready to make a decision, you can make that decision tonight. If you need more time, you can certainly do that as well. So, I would open it up to you, Kristen, to have an open discussion and put it to a vote if and when you're ready.
All right. So I'd love to hear the board's thoughts. Who wants to jump in?
I can start. I guess we'll start at the end. So I think I would agree with Bob that I don't think we'll have a bad there's not really a bad choice today. And I'm really glad we got to meet these group of 3 the way that ended up happening out. But I think one thing stood apart to me. Maybe I'm leaning too close to this. But one thing that stood apart to me was one of the candidates talked mostly about passion. And that kind of stuck out to me because while I also understand that it's like a career advancement, I mean, I would say the same things for myself. But at the end of the day, and I don't think that it's not either that they just didn't say it or whatever, but the passion is what gets you through the day-to-day, like the struggles and when things don't go your way. because career advancement, you can just go to another tech. And I'm not saying that they would. So I'm not saying you would, Rob. But I think that was really one of the most compelling, or at least for me, and especially through my experience at work, like hiring people, I do try to gauge passion. And so for me, that's why I was really in favor of John, just because he also knows like everybody apparently, like in all the grants that he's gone after. He was the only one that brought up like the hazmat grants, as well as kind of the dynamic leadership, which I thought was a unique perspective, where understanding when you're at like a situation, and then also being able to communicate that to people who may not understand that because it's not in the day-to-day, where you say like, okay, were you asking me about leadership style? There's really two ways to go about this. One's at a fire where you have to take the lead and take command because there's not really democratic time. And so just his ability to, what do we say? Not enumerate, but I guess speak to non-firefighters or convey. There's not really a good way for me to or a way for me to put it, but like the ability to the ability to share context. I guess that was another strong thing that I noticed with John. So that would be my personal initial preference without hearing what other people had to say.
Anybody else? We don't have to go in order. This can be our usual bounce around.
I think for me, I think Art was an ideal candidate. I think what he brought to the table was more similarity to Boxborough. The same size, the per diem, the getting people involved on the per diem side, and as well as the full-time staff. I think to Wes's comment, I think he showed a real personal involvement that he would bring, and I think that he to me, my personal opinion is, without hearing everyone else, is that he would be he is more in tune with what Boxborough is right now. That's what I like to.
Okay, so you want to go?
I think this is tough because I like
really hard.
I like every one of these guys.
I know that.
I'd be happy to work with any one of them. So it's like, okay, so where do you differentiate? And I think one of the things I asked the question about, the building of a fire station, and John Kivlin was the only one who could really speak to that in a level of detail about what he had done, and I thought, that was pretty valuable. Both John and Rob have great educational experiences, and they also and they're training people too. So it's like again, the candidates are great, and Rob and John. There are awards listed in the CVs as well. So it's like, wow. I think I would lean more toward John because of the number of years in firefighting. He's been like he's I don't know if this is like a dyed-in-the-wool kind of fire. He's always wanted to be the firefighter. Where Art and Rob have had career changes, and I've had a career change, and I know how tough that is, and how good you feel about it too when you succeed at it, But I think I would lean more toward John, because he's been, he's been a firefighter from the get-go. And I didn't ask if his father was a firefighter or not, but that's
He
kind of
said family members.
yeah. But that's kind of my sense for John.
I think I have to agree with Wes, in terms of the passion part, I think John was really very passionate, and I think it's also his experience, like, that kind of came across very well. And I think he'll be the right mixture of what the department needs, what the community needs, and where we are currently as Boxborough. I think I felt he'll be the right fit at this point. All three of them were excellent, and I think it depends on where Boxborough is. And given where Boxborough is, I think John would be the right candidate.
I like how you put that, matching where the candidates are in their professional development to where we are with what our needs are. That's actually a great way to put it.
Aligning incentives. Or, I'm sorry, yeah, aligning incentives.
Yeah, aligning, yeah. I have to say, all of the applicants were amazing. And one of the things that I really appreciated was they all put their firefighters first. They called it their team, first. And that's our philosophy also. You guys matter first. You guys are right there next to them, as the townspeople that they're going to support. So all three of them, I think, would do that. They would bring that to the department. I liked how they all talked about dynamic leadership, understanding that you have to be a different person or a different leader depending on the situation that you're presented with. I like that all of them had community involvement. At the end of the day, I agree. John rose just a little bit higher because of his passion, just the way he presented, the energy. Like, I would even go further to say it's his energy. And I thought, okay, that's what we need: motivation, energy, excitement, experience, wrapped up with the multiple degrees, the professional respect that he's earned based on his amazing data presentation. Yeah. So anyway, again, really hard choice. 3 really awesome candidates, and but I have to agree, John rises to the top for me. So.
Would you like to put it to a motion and vote, or do you want more discussion?
Any more discussion? All right. Then I move to appoint John Kivlin as the next Boxborough Fire Chief, subject to successful contract negotiations and final background, reference, and medical checks. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? All right. Welcome, John. Rob, thank you so much, and thank you for
Rob,
staying.
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Thank you.
It,
I'm sure you'd be very happy with it. I worked with John at the state fire academy. He's a great guy. And I'm sure he's going to very happy.
I appreciate your grace and wish you all the best, because you're pretty
yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
coming in.
Thank
Hi,
you.
you too.
All right. All
Awesome.
right.
I was gonna say,
Thanks.
I think
Thank you so
Appreciate
much
your help.
for
Thank you.
Thank you.
who knows?
Okay, we're gonna go backwards to go forwards. Really quickly, we're gonna go back to, I'm gonna find my agenda. Oh, whoops, hold on, sorry.
We lost,
Yeah.
Pretty amazing, aren't all 3 of them?
Oh my God, it's so amazing, all 3 of them.
So because we don't have Jason, because we don't have Zoom, he emailed me something to read. Yeah.
That'd be great. All right, we're all back here at the table. All right, so we're gonna go backwards to go forward.
Just a quick point of order. Do we know if Zoom will be restored or?
Oh, Kirby, do we have to wait for anything?
Nope, you're
Nope.
rolling.
Okay, we're rolling. Yeah, there's no Zoom tonight because of the interviews.
Oh.
We just had the first Zoom because they were presenting. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna go back to approval of Fire Department Student Awareness Fire Education Program Grant. So, Mike, you said something?
So because when we don't have Zoom this evening, and because Captain Malinowski needed to be in a meeting, I think it was in Boston, somewhere down that way, he emailed me something to read. So it says, Dear Select Board, it is our honor to continue the long-standing tradition of the Boxborough Fire Department to provide public education to all members of our community. Funding for the labor and supply costs to continue programming is provided through our annual SAFE and Senior SAFE grant programs, which is an annual competitive grant program through the Department of Fire Services. In the last year, we conducted more home safety visits to our seniors than any other year in the past, and look forward to some upcoming new programming that will be released as soon as this grant is officially accepted. And that acceptance is upon your vote this evening. The public education program is overseen by himself, Captain Jason Malinowski, and firefighter EMT Stephen Wright. Our team would be more than happy to come to a future select board meeting to provide a quick presentation to remind the community of the great programs we have to offer. If you need any additional details, please do not hesitate to reach out to Captain Jason Malinowski. And so all you need to do is motion and vote on these two grants. We've already been awarded them. We just need to
You just have
accept
to
them.
accept them. Does
Correct.
anybody have any questions, comments, discussion? All right, I'm going to read the motions. I move to accept the Student Awareness of Fire Education Grant in the amount of $4,700 and no cents for the purposes stated therein. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion?
Just one question, Mike, what about the 2,200?
Oh, that's the next
That's the
motion for
next one.
senior awareness.
Oh, okay,
There's
okay,
stu-
fine.
Yeah,
That's fine.
but good catch, because it's all in one letter. You're right.
Yeah, that's why I was just questioning. Okay,
Yep,
that's fine.
absolutely.
Okay.
Any questions or comments from the floor? All right, all in favor of accepting the Student Awareness, the SAFE grant?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that one's unanimous. I move to accept the Senior Awareness of Fire Education Program grant in the amount of $2,200 and no cents for the purposes stated therein.
Second.
Any further discussion? Questions or comments? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All righty. All right, we're gonna skip a few things. We're gonna skip select board reorganization. Mostly out of respect for everyone sitting here right now. We're gonna skip the common victuals license. We're gonna come back to it. We'll skip the calendar. I'd like to move to the fire station building committee appointments, just because I think that's why everybody's here. I could be wrong. And we're not that far off. It's only 9:15. Okay, so it was a little not fun. I take responsibility that after town meeting, I sent an email out to the building committee saying, hey, we're gonna figure all this out and let's all get reappointed and we'll go from there, and then realized I kind of overstepped my authority. I know that what we've all been processing is dissolving that committee and putting together a new committee focused solely on the fire station. The previous building committee it's large, it's 13 members or 14, is it 13 or 14? It's a lot.
13.
And it was, when it was originally put together, it's because we were looking at public safety. So we were trying to bring in every single facet. Now that we're down to just a fire station, we're down to the nitty gritty, it's time to consider what the composition of the fire station building committee should look like. So, again, in the spirit of conversation and discussion, I'd like to open up to the board and see, what you're all thinking, how we should be moving forward with this.
I can start. I think I agree, and I think Wes brought it up even in the town meeting about the building committee being too big for its own good. I think we need to definitely reduce the size. The original intent was a public safety building with the community center involved, so we had to include a wider population into that building committee. But now that it's only fire, I think a smaller team would be more focused, is my personal thought. And I think we should go with a much smaller group, and I would even go as far as to suggest maybe 5 to 7 members. I'm leaning more towards the 7-member.
I would agree with you. I think a 7-member group would be ideal. I think what we want to do with that new committee group, whatever you want to call it, is get some public officials, but also get community involvement and actually have residents on that committee as well. So I think having it with 7, I think is a manageable number, but we get the community involvement that I think was not as loud a voice because of so many people. I mean, where it was the 13. So I would agree with 7, and I would like to see, you know, anywhere from between, I'm gonna say between, 2 and 3 non-political people on that group.
Okay. You bring up something, when I first stepped onto that committee, you're right, it was hard to have conversations, especially because we were on Zoom. So not only do we have a lot of people, but we're all looking at each other's faces on Zoom. And I feel that by the end of it, everyone was starting to open up and feel like they could contribute.
Yeah.
But I agree with you, the sheer size in the Zoom really made that hard. It wasn't like what we're doing here. All right.
So, I actually think that we should probably do 5 people, and I don't think that we should have I don't think we should have a voting member from the select board or the FinCom on there, because this is our committee that we're appointing, and then you're effectively, you're concentrating, so instead of diluting, which would be adding people, you're concentrating it and then saying that the people who are, so we're elected and we appoint the committee, and so we're going to appoint ourselves to a concentrated influence in said committee. And I think that of all the people in this room, or of all the boards and committees, people on the select board and the finance committee should know that, like, you can still go and participate. It's just, we don't necessarily need to vote. And I think this is one of the other things that is kind of, I don't know if we say hindering public input at other meetings, like where people say like, oh, well, I don't really want to go unless I'm appointed. And so it's like people can still contribute without necessarily having a vote, because technically this would either come back to us to then put on the warrant. And so it goes through the process it goes through the budgeting process that way. But I think it may be, at least in my opinion, best to have independent people of the people that are part of the budgeting process and the warrant process to be on this committee and making proposals.
I want to explore that a little more. We heard that loud and clear. We had, quite a bit of public participation at the last building committee meeting. Can you, having not looked at enough charters, can the select board and FinCom be non-voting members and or affiliates? Because I will say, one of my concerns, because I know I do it myself, if I don't have to be there and something else comes up, I'm not there. So my concern if the select board and the FinCom aren't actually members with the responsibility to be there, that we might not get all the information that we need. So that was my roundabout way of saying, does the select board and FinCom have to be a voting member? Because how much voting are they doing?
And
And I'm asking.
Yeah, I guess my comment on that is, I agree with Wes a little bit, and maybe because and maybe I'm wrong, maybe right from the get-go, is because we're appointing this committee.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a member of the select board should not be on that committee, but I think a member of the FinCom should be on that committee as a voting member, is my own personal
Okay.
opinion.
But let's just double back, and I'm gonna look for some guidance from you. I mean, can there be affiliate members or not voting members? Like,
There can be. So you could have
I mean, like the
5
fire chief
voting
is-
members
like the
and
fire chief
any
ex
number
officio.
of, ex officio. or-
ex officio, thank
or
you. I wrote
associate
all the different
members.
words I could think of.
Yeah, you could-
Liaison, representative,
Yeah, you can do
affiliates.
anything you want. You could
Ex
have
officio.
7 voting and a couple other non-voting, or,
Like, I'm
you're
fine
gonna
with that,
have,
with having the 2 ex officio members, but I think the voting should be people that are not affiliated with the budgeting process per se.
Help me understand how much voting is done.
Well, so you make motions at this thing, or do you guys just talk, right? Like,
We don't make many motions, no.
so you literally just sit there and talk?
Well, I mean, there's not
actually,
many things we have to vote. We discuss
can-
and we move things
I can
forward.
offer a little bit. So the building committee.
Don't mock down there. I'll come down and slap
I'm
you.
not, I'm just
The
asking.
building committee typically has made motions and votes, but then what the result of that vote is, it's something that's gonna come back to the select board.
Yeah.
And that's kind of my point, is like, it's gonna come back to the select board, whether a select board member is on it or not, and that's why I think.
Priya's thinking. I can see the wheels.
Yeah, I want to first hear from Gary, and then I do want to make a statement.
So I'm going to come at here from a couple different points. First, I just went through a building committee. I was the FinCom representative at the Boardwalk campus. There are decisions and votes every day, every meeting, because you're first of all, you're starting off with voting on the architect, then your designs, and then the tiles and the colors, you're making decisions. But I have to disagree with you. If you don't forget, the building is not just building. There's a huge financial piece of this project. Anywhere from, I don't know what it's going to be, 10 million, 20 million, whatever the dollar amount is. There's invoices. You really want that finance committee member to be able to review and vote on those budgets. I was on the library building committee as an ex officio. At that time, the finance committee was not allowed to be part of any other committee. Because of that experience, the town approved the finance committee's ability to be on building committees.
Oh.
It doesn't say we're required to be on a building committee. We're allowed to be, and we're allowed to vote on that committee. And so, I mentioned this at the last board meeting, and people shot me down, but I really believe a finance committee member should be a voting member, again, because of the budgetary and accounting pieces that go through the meeting. You're doing invoices every single meeting. You're voting on them, because you're paying bills.
So correct me if I'm wrong, has anybody else here been on a building committee?
I was.
Maria has, and you have. So I guess going back to what you were saying, how much actually does come back to the select board? Because now I'm feeling a little uncomfortable. I heard you say decisions are made at every meeting. Things are scrolling right along. So now I'm feeling a little comfortable if the select board isn't actually there with a voice.
I will say, again, at the Boardwalk campus, there was a select board member of Acton on that committee.
Okay.
I don't remember the library committee, whether there was one or not.
Okay.
Chris. Member as well until the last, I was the member from Bosborough on the building committee.
Okay.
From the select board.
Alright.
And then when I got off the committee, they did not reappoint anyone.
Okay.
So Gary.
Thank you, I
kinda
couldn't
touched
remember that.
on- sorry.
Oh, no, you got, yeah.
Gary kind of touched on your question, but I just want to highlight it. So, there, at every meeting, once the thing gets rolling, there's going to be invoices that come in, that the fire station building committee is going to vote on. Those aren't going to come back to the select
Right,
board.
no.
They need to do that on a, probably twice a month. And then, when a change order comes in, that shouldn't be often, but later you get in the project, it's gonna be a little more often. And those are things that the fire station building committee is gonna vote on. I don't know that those will come back to the select board or not. I don't have experience with that, but I would think they would have the authority to go ahead and approve that change order, especially if it's something that the general contractor needs to know in a timely fashion. The OPM's gonna come in and say, this is in front of you, and I think the fire station building committee is gonna need to vote and move on that. Other things, I think, that are gonna come back to the select board, though, would be something that's gonna impact the warrant, the entire funding package, the entire design, the community outreach, things like that.
And bonding. We're gonna bond this project most probably. There's gonna be a lot of decisions made working with the treasurer on what process you wanna do. We had a long discussion at the Boardwalk campus, and I apologize, but that's the most recent one.
No, this is relevant.
We had a long discussion about bonding up front or waiting. We saved both towns almost $30 or $35 million by bonding it up front and borrowing the money immediately because the rates were so low. Things change, that's probably not the right way to go. This project,
Right.
but that's what the discussion of both finance committee members from Acton and Boxborough had with the principal, the superintendent, and other members of the finance team.
So do you feel like you could have done that job if you were a voting member? Would you have been able to have the same?
I was a voting member for that.
No, if you were, because we're talking about the select board and FinCom not being a voting member.
Oh,
So
I'm saying-
I'm saying, do you think that your voices as the two FinCom members would have had the same weight if you were not voting members?
I don't believe so.
You think people would have discounted
It's tough. Again,
And
library
no shame in
project.
that committee.
No,
I'm
the
just
library
kinda
project,
saying-
the people listened to me, even though I wasn't a voting member.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like I couldn't speak 100% when I was in that situation. It's better being a member of a voting member. You have equal weight with everybody else, and you provide, leadership and from a finance standpoint.
Maria, you
Yeah.
doing it? Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Did
So,
you wanna-
yeah, I hear exactly what Gary's
I'm not gonna
saying,
call
and
people, just
And I
talk.
agree. I don't, I think going back to the point that Wes made earlier, I don't think these meetings should include other people to be making comments during. I think these should be working meetings. If there's comments to come in from neighbors and residents, it should be during public meetings, which we've discussed we would have on a regular basis to talk about the progress. I think if you add in, we're gonna have, 5 to 7, whatever that number is, of voting members, and then we have the ex officio members like yourself and the finance, person and the fire chief and the, and all these other folks. So then, if you start adding more people and they're gonna make comments, and then we're back to the same thing where it's.
David, I gotta interrupt a little bit. Along with the 5 to 7 building committee members, you're gonna have the OPM, you're gonna have the architect,
Right, yeah.
you're gonna have the construction representatives. It's gonna get at least twice as many people coming to the meetings. They're not voting, but you'll have inputs from those folks.
Oh, right, but I'm talking more about the residents of the town, to give them, because I think that's what Wes was alluding to is, well, people can still come to those meetings, and I'm saying, maybe they can watch it on the TV, of Zoom, but I wouldn't think it's beneficial to be taking comment from people not on the committee or not a contributing member.
But if this is
in
the,
whole.
contributing is somebody that has, reviews it and brings up points that they do, and so if this is a committee that we're appointing, they have to have public meetings. There's no working meeting, so you can't block them from, the chair could, but.
You can block them
No,
from
you can't. It's
speaking,
open
but you
meetings.
can't
No,
block them
like,
seeing it, but we
the
don't have to have
chair,
public
there's
input.
procedural ways.
Yeah,
but,
just
the
like the
chair
worst
could
gonna
say
happen
Should.
on
30 seconds.
If somebody has an input, you should listen to what the input is at that time. After everybody else, like typical your meetings, you discuss among yourselves and say, then you open it up to the floor. If they have, especially like the butters, and there's always people that have comments. Conservation Commission might have an issue with something, open it up to them.
So there's gonna be, in addition to the town meetings that this, involves, there's gonna be basically 3 different types of meetings. There's gonna be weekly construction meetings, which are not public meetings. So you're gonna have the contractors there, the architect, the OPM, probably the fire chief, myself, and some other consultants. Then you're gonna have, probably every other week, you're gonna have the fire station building committee meetings, where you're also gonna have OPM, architect, myself, fire chief, maybe the finance director as needed, and then the members that you appoint, whether they're voting or non-voting members, and those are all public meetings posted. I think what you're getting at is, the last, half a dozen meetings or so of the building committee meeting, most of it has been bogged down with a lot of dialogue that's been important at this point, but I think once things get going, there'll be less of that, there'll be more business, but then there still will need to be the opportunity, because it's a public meeting, to take comment, as Gary says, as it moves along, but I don't think it's gonna get bogged down. I think it's gonna start gaining momentum in whichever direction. I don't know if that provides any clarity to the different levels of meetings or types.
And I just want to make a comment about why the select board needs to be on that committee is that, first of all, we told in front of the entire town that we will make this our big priority. We'll make sure that this is going to be done efficiently. This is going to be done at a cost-effective manner. This is going to be done at a timely fashion and all that. And to be able to have some control over all of those in terms of how to steer the whole thing, it's important for us to have a select board member to be part of that meeting, because you cannot have every meeting and a follow-up select board meeting to make those decisions. It's just going to delay the entire process. So I think it is valuable, just as valuable, to have a finance committee member to have a select board member who is also a voting member, because we stood in front of our town and said that we will take this project and we will do it efficiently and effectively. And to do that, we cannot do it sitting on the sidelines. We have to be out front and be part of the process. That's my strong opinion.
I agree.
I think, I somewhat agree, and that's, don't take that as a negative.
No,
I
go
think,
ahead.
I think what I'm concerned about is that we get a good number of, again, I say it, non-committee members on this new committee, because we are appointing this committee, so this building committee, fire building committee, does report to us. and so, we are gonna have a say, we are gonna have a say with it. I just don't want the perception to be that it's all political, that it's and I use the word political because you're.
That's what it is, yeah.
Because, that's what it is. You're already on a board, you're already on a committee. And I just wanna make sure the public feels that the public has a say. And I know there's gonna be public, meetings and public input and everything else. But, and I think what I was trying to say is, I think the structure is gonna be really important. I think you have a small number of voting members, but it's gonna be really important to have a lot of those ancillary, whatever the word was, on it, saying, we're gonna use them as advisors, someone with a history of what they were trying to do. Someone from the community who's an advisor, someone, from the Conscom, who's an advisor, who's not a voting member, but I think the structure of the committee and the support group is really important to how many people is going to be.
I think, Bob, that could be addressed. That's why if you have a 7-member, so even if you take away the 2 political members,
Yeah.
right? Like the FinCom, which is not necessarily political because we appoint, they are appointed once too. But like from a select board, right, you still have the 5 members that could be from, we can select folks from what you are suggesting, right? Like in terms of.
Right, and I think my only point is, I just question if we needed 7, because as Mike said, if we go 7, you're gonna have another 4 people automatically on that.
Yeah.
Who are, I don't know if they're gonna be voting members.
Advisory members.
Advisory members, so all of a sudden, now you're talking 7, you're talking 4, now you're talking 11.
But the voting members would be 7. Though the others are all advisors, right? Like,
And I hear you, and I just think it should be 5, and then all the advisory meetings. That's my opinion. There's 5 voting members, and then have all advisory members. But
All right, so I wrote down, put a little bubble. My ideal building committee is made up of people with time, which is huge, energy, commitment to the project, and passion for the project. So, to me, that's the most important thing, is being able to commit and participate. So that's that one piece. I am leaning towards select board and FinCom needing to be voting members. I just do. We were elected, whether we ran opposed or not, we are all sitting here because we were elected and we have taken, vows to our community. But I think we have to surround ourselves with people that are gonna really focus on it and really wanna see this project happen. So, one of the things that I talked to Mike and Rajan about was getting it out there, because I've heard loud and clear, the same people are on all the same committees. I wanna see it on social media. I want everybody to be saying, we are looking for people excited to help build this fire department. We're gonna have the experts, we're gonna have the architect, we're gonna have the engineer. I use the analogy because of my world in new construction. You hire a plumber and there's 10 different ways to do it, so I'm a little concerned with having too many engineers in the project that are just gonna argue with the engineer because there's 5 different ways to screw in a bolt, or however many. So I'm less worried about people's qualifications and more concerned about their commitment, personally. So I'm leaning towards 7 to give the community 5 spots, with the FinCom and the select board being voting members, and that the select board chairs. That's where I am.
I think you make a good point, but I don't know that we need to make the decision tonight of that number. My preference would be, let's get all of the interest, CVs or whatever people are gonna submit, who wants to be on this committee, and selecting the people that are gonna be on the committee, make the decision on the number, because it's like, okay, well, we really need to have this person, then we definitely go to 7. I mean, I'm not convinced that. Yeah, I think you said 5 people. So let's see who the people are and what that dynamic might be before the saying we're going to cut it off, rather than saying, oh, it's 7. Come in with your 7 people, next time, and we'll hammer it out. Let's leave that open until our next meeting and see who we have to be on those committees. See where the energy is. See where the
Where the commitment is.
it's like,
We already have 4 interested people, I think.
I think I've seen 3 or 4, yeah.
3 or 4. But that's why I really wanted to make sure that it's out there, that Foxborough News does an article, and that it's on their website, it's on the fire station's website, and it's on the town's website. And, I mean, I don't spend a lot of time on social media. If any of you are on social media, let's get it out there that we're looking for fresh faces, we're looking for volunteers. And actually, 2 of the people that have expressed interest, I wouldn't know if I was standing next to a Roche Brothers,
You're right,
which
it is 4.
I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled to have new faces coming in, because we've kind of gotten hammered with that.
Yep.
That there's no fresh faces.
Can I also
Gary?
mention that we've talked about having a table at Pfeiffer's Day? Great opportunity to, as people walk by,
Looking for volunteers.
comment.
Yeah, we will have a table at the fire station. It's all
So-
in the works, but I haven't sent the work thing out yet. It'll get there. Priya, you're gonna be there all day. It's gonna be fun. Yes. Actually, that's great. Pfeiffer's Day is a great time to say we're looking for volunteers too. Yeah. So, okay, all right. So I don't know if we've gotten anywhere. So, so you're saying we shouldn't make a decision till later?
I'm saying we don't have to make a decision on the number. Let's see what the composition could be. Let's see what's coming in, because.
Well, if we got 7 great volunteers, then maybe we are ex officio. I don't know. So there's virtue to that. There's virtue to that.
I'm just saying, don't paint ourselves into a corner by making a motion that this is what the size of the committee's gonna be. You know, we can do that all at once. We can get the whiteboard and we can, we could sketch it out. All right, everybody comes with their list. I think this is what it should be. And not, not one of these kind of persons, not one of, we need a neighbor, we need a engineer, it's
But,
like, we'll just.
Dave, the only thing, drawback to that one, at least we need to agree, are we willing to go to 7 from a 5 is what we need to decide. I think, we don't wanna keep going beyond that. I think the 7 should be the cutoff,
Oh, I agree
right?
with that.
Oh, yeah, no, it
Okay.
definitely
No
shouldn't.
more
I-
than 7.
it
No
shouldn't-
more
it
than
shouldn't be
7.
more than
Okay.
7, but I'm not saying that, I'm saying we shouldn't decide today that it should be,
Okay.
7. We should see what the makeup could be.
Okay. I know that already, again, some people have already expressed interest. They've sent in resumes. What is the process that you have in place so that it can be fair?
I think people should email either the select board, or if they email me, I'm gonna forward it to the select board. I think it'd be good if they send it in, either an email or something expressing their interest and why. And then I think if they can attach a resume, it'd be helpful, because you're gonna hear from people that you don't know, or you don't know, their qualifications, their time commitments. So I think something like that would be, I would say almost like you're applying for a job.
Well,
cover
it is a job.
cover-
That's why I was
it
saying
is good for
time,
the next
energy, and
couple of years.
commitment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a job.
so kind of a cover letter and resume, and even if that's just in the rough form through an email, send that sort of information.
Gary, how many hours a month do you think that you put into the building committee?
During the actual design and construction piece, we were meeting every other week, probably 3 hours, so 6 hours a month. And then the
How
court.
much prep, though, to be prepared for those meetings?
Yeah, prep time.
So, for me personally, I would spend about an hour reviewing all the invoices, going through and you get a stack, hundreds of pages, because all the bills are there. But there was a subgroup, Superintendent Mary Brolin. They would meet every week prior, probably an hour, to maybe even 2 hours sometimes, going through, preparing for the meeting, reviewing documents.
So the chair has to be prepared to have the time.
The chair is going to be planning every week to have a meeting.
So chair would be every week, okay.
Building committee every other week. And then as you get towards the tail end, we were meeting once a month, but that's,
Okay.
in a
Now,
3-year
it's
project.
a giant project. That is a giant project. I'm just trying to get an idea of
Yep.
commitment, because I'm actually thinking, people went ahead and volunteered just based on, we're gonna be building a new committee, would you like to come on board? I actually think we need a job description. I don't mean a job description, but basically just what that is. We are going to be choosing helping the town to select a site, design a building, and all that. You need to be able to commit 2 meetings a month for a total of 6 hours. You need to be willing to do your homework ahead of time so that the meetings are productive. That's what I mean. Qualifications. Not a job description, but qualifications. I think we probably try to pull it together, have it for Bikers Day as a handout, and that's what goes on the website, that's what goes on the resident interest,
And there were some ad hoc get-togethers, going to walk through the building as it was being constructed, watching the blast. One time was fun to go over and watch the thing go up. That's ad hoc hours, but
Right.
really 3 hours every other week is probably for the normal member.
Okay.
With
And
some
maybe
plus
less,
research.
It's a smaller.
So would you call it?
Yeah, yeah.
You said that, but I don't know that it's gonna be less, because you're still building a building, whether it's a
Fair enough.
three-story building with 3 schools in it, you're still building it, so you're still gonna have all your invoices, so it may not be that much less time, maybe you have
Okay.
a few less invoices. You don't need to decide on colors for 3 different floors, right, like we did, we had
3 different schools, right?
But, I'm sorry.
Roger, can you bring us Maria? You stay there, you stay, go back over there.
So, I'm here, I got it. So I just don't assume that it's gonna be, because it's half the size.
Okay.
Or,
good point.
a quarter the size, that it's quarter the work. You're still gonna have all of that homework to do. You just may not have 100 invoices, you may have 75. So, you know what I mean? You're still gonna have the budget, you're still gonna have the site you have to look at, you're gonna have to do value engineering, you did that twice, right?
Yep.
And that, like I was involved the first time, it takes hours because you're trying to look at your budget and what you can do and what you can't do,
So
so.
value engineering is when you have to cut.
Yeah, or change.
I just want to.
We can even call it change.
Yeah, we got nervous about running over budget, so we started cutting things out. And then turns out we had some math errors by one of our subcommittees and had to fix some things later. There's good things happening, but you go and look at colors, you go and look at site, you have to walk through the various sites, what
Right.
makes sense. So there's a lot of day-to-day activities.
So just don't assume it's a
Okay,
quarter
no,
of the
all
work.
right, good to know, thank you. Everybody came tonight for this reason. Anybody have any questions, comments, discussion points? You just want to know what we're gonna do? Okay. Oh, Barbara, let me give you, Rajan will give you the mic.
My only comment is that the select board is appointing the committee and has to say who's doing it, then delegate. Do you need to be there if you're delegating the right people?
That's a good point. That's kind of what Dave was saying,
That's what I was
actually.
about to-
That's what Bob was saying, yeah.
Because we're appointing them, so it's like
Yeah.
they report to us.
Any other comments? We'll just pass the mic around. Don't stand up, we'll bring it to you.
I would reiterate what Barbara said. I mean, I think one of the problems that the committee's had in the past is you've had select board members, and then they're elected, and then they're not elected. So you've got people who are leading a committee, and then all of a sudden they're not there. So you don't have a smooth path for all the work that's being done. You bring a new person in from the select board, they've got to come up to speed. And you've had the select board member be the chair, okay? So the select board member has all that extra work. I think you really should think about who should be on the committee, and do you want to duplicate the fact that it's reports to the select board, okay? They're going to have to answer to the FinCom, okay? A FinCom person with knowledge of construction is probably good, okay? But I'm not sure that you need someone from the select board. What I would also like to do is I'd like to understand the process, because I'm a little concerned when I start to hear we've already got 4 applications. So how did we get 4 applications when we're just starting the discussion tonight?
They're not applications per se, it's emails of interest. Application is probably a strong word, because at the last building committee meeting, we announced that we'd be dissolving it and creating a new committee, so people quickly raised their hands. That's how.
And I think there was an article in the Boxborough News too.
Yeah, that
saying
might be it,
anybody
too.
who wants to.
John, one of those
participate.
applications was you, because you emailed it to me and I shared it with Chris.
I'm counting you, John.
Okay,
I wasn't gonna call you out on it, I'm like, well, John, you're one of them.
Yeah, so
Of course, here.
So any way that it gets in, whether it's through the board or through me, I'm going to make sure it gets back to the board, whether that's an email, a note dropped off. And I've been telling people the same thing. If they express their interest, then I say, great, if you got a resume, send it in. Otherwise, send in your qualifications and your interest, and then I share that with the board.
Oh, here, where, David? Okay, so getting back to it, we're not appointing tonight. I also think it's only fair to make sure that anybody who raises their hand understands the process too. I don't want hurt feelings, I don't want misunderstandings. I can remember when we had more than enough Council on Aging volunteers and we interviewed them and people were really upset not to be chosen, and it wasn't handled very well, so I don't want to repeat that. So I think that there does have to be some kind of a guideline.
Kristen, as part of the guideline, I wonder if using the word expectations is better than qualifications, because somebody might say, well, I'm qualified to be on there because you said here's the qualifications, whereas here's the expectations. Expect it to be 10 to 15 hours a week or a month, whatever it is, and expect to be able to comprehend technical information and understand what technical people are talking about without narrowing it so much that, well, I meet the qualifications. I just wonder if that's...
I like that, because that's where we can wrap in the time, the energy, commitment, the passion, these are the expectations. Thoughts, everybody?
So when, in terms of the process, how is that, that goes back to your job description, right? These are the sort of your qualifications, and these are your duties, right? In terms of what the people are going to do in the committee. How and when does that get assembled, and how does it get communicated?
Well, my feeling is I do this, right, like that,
You
and
do
he
that
does
very well.
it.
You do that very well, Kristen.
Thank you.
And
Because honestly, we need to do it in the next 2 weeks. I would like to have a board
Exactly.
appointed by July 1st, if not, or at least the first meeting. I'd love a board appointed by the first meeting in July, whatever that date. We're not there yet. That's.
So Rajan and I have been making mental notes of what you're talking about so far. If you have other expectations that you want, we can get something out by the end of the week.
See, I would love it at the Pfeiffer's Day table,
Yeah.
So, I trust in delegating to these guys to put together expectations. And then we use Pfeiffer's Day as an opportunity to get those people that we've never met that might want to be involved and might be able to meet our expectations.
Well, and I guess, Mike, to your comment, I don't know if it's expectations versus qualifications. I kind of think it's both. Because just, Kristen, to your point, if someone's got a whole bunch of time, but they don't have the qualifications, I don't know how much value they're going to add to that committee.
But I think you can talk about qualifications by way of expectations. Is the expectation that someone will have enough technical background that they're able to read dense construction and design reports, that sort of thing? So I think we can wrap that in there.
Right, and if you do that, I think it's fine, but just to say, oh, I've got 30 hours a week to spend for this, but if they don't have the technical technical expertise to do it, because of the career they choose, whatever it is. If they're and I'm just saying a person who's a factory worker or a farmer or something like that. There's nothing wrong with those careers. I'm just saying, what value would they add just because they have the time? I think you've got to have the qualifications along with the expectation,
and also be able to. The goal should be to move this project along, because it shouldn't be like why it can be done. We should think outside the box and how we can get this done. I think that's important too. So we need to make sure that
I was
that
watching the
comes
wheels
out.
turning in Gary and Maria's face. Being on these committees, weigh in.
Yeah.
First Gary, then Maria.
So we're hiring experts. What you really want in this committee are people, one, who are willing and driven to do it. They don't have to be engineers, architects, designers. When we did I apologize again, but when we did the school building, we had an ex-principal, we had teachers on there, we had a parent on there. It was a bigger committee. It was 12, 13, 14 people. You don't need, it's nice to have people who can read charts, at least to have one person who can speak. But you don't need all 5 to be professionals.
Yeah.
You need people that know the town, people that have people that have been here a while.
That's kind of what
can
I was
work
thinking.
and are willing to put the time in. so.
Maria?
So I was going to say the same thing. It's really important that you also have people who understand. You can have all the engineers in the world sitting in a room, but if you can't explain that to the Boxborough taxpayer, and they don't understand, they don't have a plan to put out. And we did that. We had people on the committee that started out. Adam was the person who started out. He started the social media campaign, and so I hear a lot about all these qualifications, but you have to understand. I agree. You have professionals that you're paying a significant amount of money to give you all the expertise. And yes, we want to be able to, if we had, Larry Grossman was on the other committee and he had the architectural background, he was able to bring a lot to the table. That's fine, but you don't need to have everyone having construction. You need to have somebody needs to be able to talk to the people in the town and say in forums, and someone needs to understand what the school committee, what we did on that building committee is the number of public forums. So I couldn't read a blueprint, but I understood public forums. Right? And by the way, it's not that hard to read a blueprint when you have an expert sitting there pointing it out to you. You know what I mean? You understand it, right?
Yeah.
It's technically over my head except for, so I think it's really important that you keep that in mind as you go forward. You want to make sure that you have a good cross-section and you have people who understand the town. Gary's right. People who understand this town and process and the history. So it's really important.
I mean, I agree with what Maria said. I think you have to look at, I think one of the most important things that this committee has to do when they get started is they have to get the public engaged. They have to get the public to feel as if they're part of the process, okay? So I go back and I look at what did we do when we did the master plan, okay? We got the public engaged. This room was filled with standing room only when we were discussing the master plan. We got people engaged at Pfeiffer's Day. The kids got a chance to say what they wanted Boxborough to look like. They understood. The parents were engaged because their kids were engaged. Right now, the community is asking for engagement. They're asking for information. And I think that's what you have to start with, okay? And that's what we did for the master plan, okay? And that's very important. That's number one, okay? You need a group of people that are going to be able to work together. You need a group of people that are going to also have some differences so that you have an open, honest debate about what's required, okay? But underneath all of that, it's the people who are driven to get this done for the community because it needs to happen. There's no question that we need this fire station, and we needed it 10 years ago. So that's what you need, but you got to get that public engagement, and you got to get people who are driven to do that. Thanks.
Agreed. All right. So then our focus for the next couple of weeks then is going to be getting the word out that we're looking for this. So we'll do so if anybody has time to be at, I don't even care if you just wander by the table at Pfeiffer's Day, stop, engage. Yeah, I know you guys already volunteered, but Wes, Dave, if you're around, I have to work.
I'll be hanging out.
All right. Awesome. And again, we'll get Boxborough News involved. All the social media pages need to be involved, saying that we're looking for, for volunteers. And if you guys could put together expectations and job description, memorializing kind of what everybody here has said, that would be lovely.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
FinCom meeting tomorrow night.
Okay.
And I just want to understand, are we appointing?
Is there going to be I want to put forward that, yes, there'll be a finance committee person on this committee, or not, or have you not made that decision? I'm trying to understand that.
I'm willing to make a motion. I feel that there should be a FinCom member because you guys know how it works. I mean, I feel really strongly, whether the select board's voting or not, FinCom must be a voting member of this committee. That's my.
I'll, if you're making that motion, I'll second that.
I move that the Fire Station Building Committee have at least one FinCom member, voting member.
Does Gary count?
Gary is not on the FinCom.
He's off.
Bye-bye.
He can't be on anymore.
So happy, Gary.
I was going to say, Gary's grinning, yeah. All right, well, I just threw a motion out there, that FinCom be a voting member of the Boxborough Fire Station Building Committee.
And I second it.
Any further discussion? You thinking, Les? Look at your thinking. You can disagree.
think it's funny we're voting on a motion.
You might
for
want to say
something that doesn't
proposed.
exist.
Proposed fire
Well,
station.
because she wants to
building.
know if they should put someone forward. She's just trying to be efficient.
Our next meeting, we have a meeting.
Tomorrow night, and then we don't have a meeting until probably July 11th, because we're going late, because we close the books on the 15th. So I talked to our accountant, we're gonna go as late as we can, so that if there's any last minute changes, we can do that. We're trying to be efficient and not have too many meetings in July. So we won't have another meeting until July. So this person, if we put it forward tomorrow night, and maybe the FinCom says we wanna wait, but I wanna be able to say to them, we need a person, because Gary on June 30th is off the committee. And so we don't have anyone, and we wouldn't anyway, because he's on the committee that's being dissolved, just to be clear. So I need to know if we need to appoint somebody. We can wait until July 11th, but if you're trying to get a meeting July 1st, then that doesn't work.
Well, no, whatever our first meeting in July is.
Okay.
No, I hear what you're saying, Wes, but I just feel like, I feel strongly FinCom's non-negotiable. Great, we can decide if select board should be on a committee that we're appointing, great, but I feel that FinCom's a non-negotiable member of that committee.
I mean, I think that's fine. I just don't know if we need a motion for it.
I know, but I also wanna make sure everyone's got a chance to speak and be heard.
Well, just so the FinCom is clear on
That too.
their instructions.
Any further discussion? Yeah. Anything from the floor? All those in favor of a voting member of FinCom on the Fire Department Building Committee? Fire,
Yes.
you know what I mean. Please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'll abstain.
You're abstaining. All right.
Thank you.
4 to abstain.
Yes.
Please.
I have my marching orders.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Kristen, can I make one final comment?
Absolutely.
I really think that you, Select Board, and our TA and Assistant TA should really seriously think about a permanent building committee for Boxborough. We know we have.
I agree.
We know we have the fire station. We know the police station's coming after
Well,
that.
yeah, but
It's gonna be constant forever.
So Gary, are you saying in addition to the fire building committee?
No, that's a
Or-
decision you have to make. I just
Right.
think that we should really move towards a permanent building
So
committee.
after the fire station is built, this committee could continue on for something else?
That's a decision that you folks have to make. I
Okay.
just think you really should talk about a permanent building committee.
Right, no, I would agree with you, I just don't want to.
Revolving member, the whole
I
process.
just don't think we can have two building committees
No.
going.
So
right now.
I talked about what Gary just brought up at the last building committee meeting, and kind of went off our agenda a little bit and said, I just think in the future, the town should be thinking about a permanent municipal building committee.
yeah.
That's what most progressive towns do, and, whether this fire station building committee eventually morphs into a permanent municipal committee, or you do, I don't think you need them both run at the same time.
Right.
But Gary's right. Your library's 20 years old. You need to think about, I'm not talking about a new library, but there's constant upkeep on it, being the oldest, or actually the most recent construction. But then you think about, something's gonna have to eventually be done with the community center. This building's gonna be here for a long time, but there's gonna need to be some remodeling or renovation or
Well,
whatever it is.
We already talked about the police station and the DPW, so I mean, yes, that's why I agree.
Yeah.
Because we don't have 30 buildings, but we have 5, 6 buildings that are 5 or 6 buildings that need to be talked about.
Right. And in reality, you don't want to wait till the fire station's done to start the police. You want to leapfrog.
Whatever, yeah.
Because you have to start discussing, get some, before money's even brought in, so.
And you do get some succession when you have a permanent municipal, you're gonna have some of those same people that take, the experience that Gary is speaking to with the school, that move it into whatever that next construction project. So maybe a, discussion for a future meeting, but I think that's an important, thing for the town to consider, is having a permanent committee.
Okay.
And you're on that one.
All right, thank you, everybody. All right, so you're gonna put something together, we're gonna get the word out, we're gonna use every channel that we can think of to get it in front of as many people as possible. All righty, okay, beautiful. Thank you all for coming in tonight.
Christie.
It's been a long night.
Kirby's.
What's that?
Kirby, what do you need?
I'm sorry, Kirby, did you just?
Yeah.
Oh, of course, oh my God, yes, of course, no, of course.
Just reminding you.
Littleton TV, absolutely, yes. All right, so we'll have it up, we'll have it posted there too, Kirby. Well, Mike and Rajan know that.
Yeah, we're gonna use Boxborough News, we're gonna use the, Littleton built-in cable access, we're
Yep.
gonna use social media, we're gonna use the website, we'll get it out through it. And, you know, this, you know, when we put this out, I would expect we're gonna put this out by Thursday or Friday. If anybody sees anything, well, we needed this, we can change it.
We'll
It's-
tweak it.
Yeah, it's, you know, but we're gonna get something out early, and then
Yeah.
if we need to, you know, change it a little bit, we can do that.
Let's get it out there.
Wait, I do want to mention this, that I know that Kirby had a significant loss this week.
What?
His chocolate lab of 14 years passed away Friday, and so this has been a tough couple of days for Kirby,
Sorry,
so.
Kirby.
Sorry,
So
Dave.
sorry,
Our thoughts are with
Kirby.
him and his family.
Oh,
It's-
yeah. That's hard.
It is hard. It is
His
hard.
chocolate lab Cassie, 14 years old.
I've been there, Mike Kaiser, yes.
Mm.
All right, okay, so we're gonna get it out everywhere that we can think of where people see it, get as many applicants as possible, and we'll go from there. Okay, all right, moving right along, we did everything at the top. All right, select board reorganization, thoughts?
I nominate you. Oh, another.
You guys hate me. Now you're laughing?
That's Kirby laughing in.
That was,
Second that.
Also,
Okay, second, further discussion?
all right, well then you're just gonna get stuck with me babbling along and, you know, stumbling over my words, but okay, fine. I'll do it another year if you're all, oh, if your guys are open to it, I'm open to another year. I feel like I've kind of gotten into the rhythm.
Call for
Fine.
I'll-
There's no discussion, call for the vote.
Well, here's the, read
Second,
it.
yeah,
Um,
okay, all right.
Wes?
I'm gonna say nay.
Someone has to I'm not gonna nominate myself.
Oh, no, okay, I nominate Mr. Hilberg as chair of the select board for a term ending with our next reorganization.
Is there a second?
I will-
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
All right.
Aye,
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
good job.
Thank you. All right, I get to be chair. Yay. All right, clerk. Who'd like to be clerk? Priya, would you like to continue as clerk?
I will nominate Maria as clerk.
No.
Should we, should-
Dave.
No.
I nominate Dave to be the clerk.
No, no, you don't.
Oh, there's a second.
Wait, there was no second.
Yeah, you
Wes did.
seconded.
Wait, all right, well, I nominate Wes.
Oh my God.
There's already a motion at the second.
There's already a motion and a second, so we'll have to.
Dave, would you accept the nomination? Priya, tell him what's the lift? What's the lift?
You read the bond statements.
Yeah. No.
What's that?
You read the bond statements. After town meeting and you get a bond, you have to read the statement, and it's very long.
You have to run the meeting if I'm not here. But you don't have to take notes or anything.
well, wait, so I think your little slide note was
Sometimes
that,
you do.
how often are you not
So-
gonna be here?
Oh, wait a second.
So the clerk will
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
take
yeah, yeah.
Bob, I thought we were friends.
Now he's my friend.
Wes has something to say.
Wes, what do you got?
So just for full context, this clerk will have to take notes because I believe we will be in a renegotiation period with Mike Johns, and so typically we don't have the assistant TA there in the meeting when we're discussing the negotiations for the TAs.
But that would be one meeting.
That's one meeting. Yeah.
It's not always one meeting.
Or
Okay,
like
two.
few meetings. Few meetings. Okay. Hopefully not. But yeah.
He knows the rules.
Wes, would you like
He
to be
knows-
clerk?
Hell no.
Oh, God! Yeah, but you voted against me, so I nominate Wes.
No, but you can't. So that's a point of
I
order.
second
It's
that.
So
punishment.
just like a point, because this is again a thing out of order. So the other motion for a committee, like having somebody on a committee without even forming the committee, is out of order. Just like taking another motion with the motion in a second is also out of order.
Yep.
Okay.
We have to take a vote
See,
for the
what a
motion.
good
That's
clerk
why I
you
said
be.
nay.
Right. So, okay. So therefore, we have to first vote
You have
on Dave.
discussion.
Dave's, yeah.
All right, so
And-
first we're voting on Dave's.
okay, so
But if
first-
Dave's gonna,
If it
if Dave's
comes
not
down-
gonna accept it,
Right. And then,
Do
if
you
we- but
dis-
if we say no, Dave, then we nominate Wes. And that would be in following in order.
Okay.
or you could withdraw the motion.
I was the one who made the
Oh,
motion.
you could
I'm
withdraw
not
the motion.
withdrawing.
You're not withdrawing it?
Oh my
Oh.
God, Dave, no, you don't want it? You don't want it?
No, I really don't. I really don't. I feel like I'm in, I like the position I'm
Okay.
And I'd like
All right.
Okay.
But I think,
So
I
if
think.
you, I mean,
I
you don't
think-
want to
I think
force
Wes really
anybody.
knows, he knows the rules, he knows
But-
the process, he's a perfect
Wes?
guy for that.
Wes, would you, would you accept the nomination? Well, Priya, first you have to withdraw your motion.
No, but I'm asking Wes before I withdraw.
Oh, I
so-
see.
I will reiterate my previous statement.
Okay, we still have to go through this. Okay, so why don't I withdraw the motion? I withdraw the motion
That's fine.
to
Does the seconder
nominate.
agree?
Oh, but
No, the seconder has to agree to withdraw.
Oh, that's fine.
you agree?
I don't think I have to.
You don't have to, okay.
All right, so I second her withdrawal of the nomination of Dave.
No, I guess he said you don't have to second.
All right, so
if
look,
I
you
withdraw.
You just withdraw it.
All right, so that's
Yeah.
fine, that's
Make
it.
another
All
motion.
right, so now I will nominate Wes as clerk of the select board.
But
We gave Dave the right to say no,
say-
I don't want it.
okay, I'll second. Now you can say
I said hell no.
no. Okay, he's
All right,
still
hell
no.
no. All right.
So you'll have to withdraw.
I'll have to withdraw.
So I'll go ahead and
All right.
be the clerk.
You'll do it again.
Yes.
All right, then I'm just going to jump to I nominate Priya Sundaram as clerk of the select board for a term ending with our next reorganization. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Priya, you're
No,
in.
Wes
abstain.
didn't say.
You abstained again?
Wes
Abstain.
didn't say. Okay,
Wes abstaining
okay.
again. Wes, I do not
Well,
understand.
put some first
but
aid
that's
for her
fine.
twisted arm.
Yeah, exactly. With the first
Out of
name.
respect for Priya, I abstain.
You know, you can say no, Wes. It's all
No,
right.
I
That's
did-
even
Wait a minute.
more. That's
So you
even
voted
more
in-
supportive.
Wait a second. So you voted no for me to be chair, but out of
I
respect
told
for
you, this is
Priya,
like a
you're
ship without
abstaining.
sails. We're going around here out of order. Like, this is bananas. Like, the whole point of the chair
It's a
is just to
discussion.
run a
It's not
meeting.
bananas. It's not bananas at all.
Okay.
Okay, we have a new, we have the same chair, we have the same clerk.
Okay.
Let's move on to the 3-day common victualler's license, I always struggle with that word, for Neshoba Valley Olympia. Now, I have to say, in my packet, the page for what they're doing didn't copy, so can one of you guys just fill me in? I get paper, you guys, because I can't handle all that stuff online. Like, my thing saying exactly what they're doing
So
didn't print.
So the common victual license is for 5%.
So they're just trying to sell food. So these food trucks and stuff like that.
But it says it's for Neshoba Valley Olympia, and the application I had said Neshoba Valley Olympia.
Yeah, so the Neshoba Valley, they're having their food truck thing again. And so where they have like that weekend where they bring in all the skaters, I think.
No,
Is that?
no,
Yeah, but-
no, they sell food in.
Oh, well, yeah, that too. But they've also had events in the past. where-
Correct, yes, right.
Because that's what I saw the one with the food trucks, but the Neshoba Board of Health was saying that these food trucks.
All right,
I thought this was just for them to allow to sell the food in the skating rink.
No. So this is a 3-day license. So last year they did this too. They have a huge event where they have
Oh,
like
this is just a 3-day
championship.
license, okay, okay.
And so like it's a open skating competition where they
Okay.
have many skaters of different ages coming in from very, very far away. And so they have these food trucks that show up and to provide food for them while they're there. There is also the food inside, but it's literally like a huge like corral.
Okay, all right.
okay. Well, that's what I thought it was, because I had to, oh, here it is, hello, right in front of me. Because I had the licensed mobile food, I have this, I have Neshoba Olympia's certificate, but then the page that said what they were doing was blank. This is what I wasn't sure.
Regina's pulling that up right now.
Okay.
I don't have my
All right,
laptop with
well,
me.
that's totally fine. What, if, I do, this is what they came in for last year, so I am totally fine moving
Yeah.
through with this as long as they use the Neshoba Board of Health approved food trucks.
By the way, I can't say that
Oh,
word
here it
either,
is.
so I just call it
Victualler.
common vic. I just call
Common
it
vic.
common vic.
Thank you, it's
That-
common vic
that's
from
it.
now
That-
on.
'cause
It
I
does
can't
not roll
pronounce
off
it.
the tongue. Yeah.
So you got this, right?
All right.
No, that's what you, well.
Oh, that's what
you're
didn't
gonna
copy
Here,
on mine.
here.
Mine is this.
Here.
This is what I got.
That's it.
All right, perfect. Okay, this is exactly what they did last year. It's exactly what Wes just said. So I'm going to go ahead and make a motion. I move to approve a 3-day common VIX license to Neshoba Valley Olympia for June 21st, 2024 through June 23, 2024.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Awesome. Okay, next. The 2025 fiscal year select board meeting calendar. I actually, you guys, I am sorry, but I'm gonna recommend that we meet on the 1st or the 8th just for the fire station building committee, because it is not gonna be 15 minutes. And it's not on the schedule that they put together. We were trying to do just once a month in the summer, but the building committee has got to get formed. And we missed a meeting, so we're already kind of like, that's why we couldn't talk about it until today.
Okay, so.
I don't disagree. I saw that it was missing from that. I wasn't sure if it was a mistake or not, so.
Well, it's because we were trying to do once a month, and Wes will bear this out. You know, typically we go down once a month, but we've got to get that building committee put together. And I'm inclined to say July 8th, only to give us that much more time.
I agree, the 8th.
Is everybody available on the 8th?
So, okay, so we're missing this, we skipped the 17th, we're meeting on the 24th.
Yep.
If we skip the 1st,
8th.
then we go to the 8th, right?
Yep.
I'm fine with the 8th.
Yep.
All right, because 6/24 is our appoint-a-thon.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, everybody can hate me, but I'm gonna invite volunteers to come in and say hello, to be appointed. I like meeting people, I like seeing their faces, I want to say thank you. They don't have to come in, but I would like to
Okay.
invite them.
That was my only question, are you gonna make them come in? But-
No, we didn't make them come in last time, and they can Zoom in or they can come in, but I just feel really strongly it's our chance to say thank you.
That's fine.
All right,
So the
so we
8th
have a point-a-thon on the 24th, we're gonna add July 8th.
Wait,
And
which
then-
one are you talking about?
What's that?
This one,
The new one, did you see the new one?
this one is July
Oh,
22nd.
is this new?
Yeah, that's the new one.
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't
Oh,
have,
that's not the one that we got the other day.
okay. Yeah, this doesn't have,
Yeah, this doesn't have these,
okay,
because I don't see
Because we just got that tonight.
okay.
That's in that packet.
this one.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, it's in that
There you
packet.
go.
Yeah.
I'll find
Yeah, it was towards the end. So Kelly worked really hard on this. She ran it by everybody for all the different religious holidays to make sure we weren't being disrespectful. There are a couple of Wednesday meetings, and she's gonna be better about reminding us, because I know every Wednesday meeting I get caught out, not planning for it. But we'll try to do a better job of saying, hey, don't forget, we have a Wednesday meeting in October and November.
Okay, and only other thing in that calendar is that other dates to note, the presidential election is 11/5/24, not 25.
Wait, what?
Oh, you're right,
Yeah.
oops.
Yep.
Good one, good catch.
Catch.
Yep, okay. Now, if anybody does see anything on here that would otherwise be on a day we shouldn't be meeting, you know, we can always amend this later. But, all right, so I'd like to add July 8th, but otherwise, everyone's good with the calendar?
Yep.
Yep.
I don't think we need to vote it, do we? Did you give me a motion? Yes. All right, I move to approve the 2025 fiscal year select board meeting calendar as amended. Is there a second? Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Awesome. Okay.
So just a quick question, and this is not for discussion. On, what, October 16th?
Yeah. Columbus Day. Is that Monday?
That's where I'm confused.
So the 16th is their meeting, what she's saying is what day of the week it is. So the 16th is a Wednesday.
Because we'll have that Monday off.
Because we won't meet on Monday. So that's what she's trying to show us, is that,
So the
okay,
date
we're
is
gonna have a
not a
meeting.
Monday, it's the Wednesday, so effectively the date is the date of the meeting, and so you'll see the check mark on the X for Wednesday to denote that we're having it on the Wednesday because, if you look at the notes, Columbus Day. So that's how you read it.
Right, so Columbus Day,
It's not the 16th.
Yeah, Columbus Day
bingo,
must be
that's
the
what I got.
14th.
Okay, now we understand. The same thing for Veterans Day.
Right.
Yep.
Yep, from
It's
And then
not,
Memorial
it's
Day.
not the 13th.
The holiday is the reason why we're not having it on the Monday for that week.
Great, because that was my question. That was my only confusion. Yeah, I'm fine with it. Yes, that's fine. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, and you'll let Kelly know to add July 8th.
Yes.
Or somebody, somebody will add July 8th. All righty, next. The water line easement. Has everyone had a chance to read through that? Mike, do you want to walk us through
Sure.
anything?
So this is what the, what town meeting authorized the select board to vote on to accept this easement. This easement, it's pretty dense, but it was drafted by the Littleton Light and Electric Water Department council. It was reviewed by our council, it went back to their council and back to our council, so it's been twice reviewed by legal. I've reviewed it. I had our DPW director review it, and we all added a little bit into it, and this is where we got to. So I think it's very well reviewed, refined, and ready for your signature, and then it'll go back over to Littleton for their select board signature. So unless there's any questions.
I didn't see
No,
anything.
yeah, I'm not, I didn't feel like I could technically address that. Hearing what you just said, you know, that it's gone through multiple reviews, you know, including legal reviews, then I'm fine with it.
That's the way I felt too, yeah.
Right. And Mike, I'm noticing in the packet, so it's the Barstow Select Board and it's the Littleton Water Commission. We both have to sign this for this to go forward?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I said select board, I meant it's water commissioners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good.
So I'll
All
move to
right,
approve
is
the
there,
water
all right, so,
Wes is doing it.
Wes is
Great,
doing the
go ahead.
motion.
So I'll move to approve the water line easement and authorize the town administrator to submit to Littleton Water Department.
Second.
any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, unanimous. All right, minutes, did everyone have a chance to read the minutes? Are there any amendments?
No?
What? Not a single
Sorry,
grammatical error?
I got an early look at it.
Kelly's not
from
even
Kelly,
here to celebrate.
And
She is watching it,
Okay, so
even
she's
though she's on
celebrating.
vacation day,
Oh, she should not be watching on vacation day.
but she is.
Okay,
How does
well,
she watch it if it's not being broadcast?
Right, she's not.
oh,
You know what, she told me this morning she's watching it, but that was before we canceled the broadcast. And I'm
But she's
remembering-
not. Good catch, Wes.
okay, oh, she's omniscient. All righty, well, all right, we are gonna have to say there were no edits. All right, I move to
I already
approve.
told you that I had no edits, so.
Good job. Anybody else have any edits?
Nope.
All right, I move to approve the regular session minutes of April 22nd, 2024.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I have to abstain.
Opposed?
I
Oh,
have-
you're gonna abstain and abstained. So Bob abstained.
You can
All
truly
right.
have gone back and watched the video. Why are you slacking?
Yeah, we're gonna make you watch every single one.
Every single one?
Yep. All right, are there any select board reports and updates?
Welcome.
Pour yourself a bourbon and settle in.
Where's that quitting letter? I need that quitting letter.
The quitting letter. Any select board reports or updates?
Thank you for welcoming me to the select board, folks.
Good stuff.
Welcome.
All right, how about Rajan and Mike? Do you have anything?
Hiring updates, we have advertised for the associate town planner. We're still taking applications for those. We did unfortunately get a resignation for the local transit operator.
Already?
For one of the part-time positions,
Aw.
but we did extend an offer for the full-time position for local transit operator.
Wasn't that the person didn't like the job, there was a family medical issue that they needed to tend to, so.
Oh, well, they should definitely do that first.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. All righty.
Mike, is this a good time to talk about those interns that I sent you? I know you wanted to discuss. Is this
Yeah.
a good time?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely, during
Yeah, so I had sent a few interns to Mike to see if they would be interested for any of our departments. So Mike, I know you had concerns because the resumes were really like over the top in terms of like what they
Well,
were.
it wasn't that, it was, I mean, these were extraordinary, I think there were five, I read all of them, I think there were 5 or 6 of them, extraordinary young people, all college undergraduate students, all political science students.
Wow.
And I guess I missed the part about, let me send them out to the other department heads and see, because I didn't think they would have an interest in working in either finance or public administration, because that's the 2 lenses I was looking through. But
Yeah,
maybe
they are willing to do anything in town, but they just don't want to be like. I mean, they really want to work to see how a town operates.
Okay.
Their intentions are like. I mean, eventually they want to work like for a senator's office, like really like in Capitol Hill.
Yeah.
But they want to start like at a local town level. So that's what at least I am being told. I can connect you with the person who sent me the resumes, and like when I looked at the resumes, I was super impressed too. I'm like, oh my gosh, these are like really
incredibly
learned.
talented, top GPA,
Yeah.
scores and the involvement in clubs and activities and presidents of associations and stuff. So what I'll do, and you just said what I really wanted to hear was I wanted to hear that there was interest in local government.
Yeah.
Because what I saw was they're all studying political science. Some of them have already been like political aides, like
Yep.
state senate and rep aides and stuff like that. And some of them, actually, one of them was an aide to, or had an internship with Congressman Auchincloss. So they already had a federal internship.
Wow.
So I
Yeah.
thought, what do they want with us? So I wanted to hear. So now that I know they have an interest in seeing inside local government, that's helpful. So I'll share those resumes around with all our department heads. And I think you said they weren't necessarily looking for a paid internship, they wanted the experience. That's helpful too.
Wow.
And this is for the summer?
Is that
it?
legal? Are we allowed to do
Yes.
unpaid internships?
Yeah, absolutely. You don't have to pay internships.
No, we had them at the hospital all the time.
Did you?
And they work out
Yeah.
fabulously. I just wanna make sure that it's for the summer, and
Yeah.
it's only in the
Yeah.
summer, so, because it gets complicated if they try applying this to schoolwork, and that's why you don't wanna go down that road. As long as they're just doing it for the summer, it works out.
Yeah, it's only for the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
they
right.
just, yeah. And I will anyway connect you to that person because I think he does this as, like he kind of brings multiple people from different areas and
Yeah.
then kind of gets,
And do they all?
sends them out in,
So they
to
all-
different
I noticed-
communities.
I noticed some of them lived, like, I noticed one lived in Lexington, there was few, but then there were some, they were going to college all over the country, in fact, some in different parts of the world. Are they all kinda local here for the summer? So-
I would have to,
If
I
not-
didn't look,
if
I
not,
didn't
we
look
can-
into that much detail, but like
Okay.
I just.
Well, I'll talk to this person.
Yeah.
I think,
Maybe connect
that's a great point. I think, I'm just gonna say, I think if they should be local. I think what you were gonna offer was remote. I don't think they get the experience or the feel working remote if they wanna get a sense of local government.
Government, yeah.
I think-
I think they'll come, like many of them, at least from what I heard, it's like they want to come. And they don't wanna just be copying and doing things, but they actually working.
Right, and that's what I'm saying, if they
Yeah.
can come to the town hall, wherever the department is, versus working remotely, they're not gonna get the sense of how
Yeah,
local
so
government.
that we can, I think, stipulate that and say, like, if we wanna take internship, they have to come,
Yes, they have to come physically here.
which will be fine.
Okay, that helped me.
Okay.
So I'll get that around in the morning to, our department heads,
Awesome.
so.
All right. Anybody else?
I have a question, maybe we could talk about this at our next meeting, but I noticed there was a change in our agenda, and one of the executive session items was crossed out. Are we going to have that discussion at some point?
Can I just, can I just say why that was? So there was an executive session posted there because there may have been an interest for the town to look at a real property. The interest in looking at it has gone away. In the future, if there was something like that, we would put it in there with the address. Is that fair to say, at least at this point?
The
At this
property
point, anyways.
that we were going to bring forward is not what we thought it was, so we're not bringing it forward anymore, so.
So we took it right off the agenda.
It's not what we thought it was, where we thought it was, or what?
All of the above.
But if, and I did get some clarifying information that we should be putting the address in there, which I didn't do.
Yeah.
In the future, if we bring one forward to discuss in the executive session, we'll put the address in there. Now, looking at Mass General Law, what it says is normally, under Mass General Law, town or the address shall be put. Well, as far as I read it, this wasn't normally. This was a more, extenuating circumstance. So even though it says shall, I was like, well, this is not a normal circumstance. And this is one where I didn't think we should be putting the address out there. So I didn't.
Okay.
But in the future, if we get to that point, I will get a legal opinion.
There you
whether
go.
we need to put the address or not. Because in that one, I didn't think we should have been.
No.
But I may be completely wrong on that. But the reason for that has gone away anyways,
Yeah.
Okay.
at least for the time being.
Chris, the only thing I have a question on, are we gonna talk tonight about the energy reduction fuel vehicle policy?
No, we did.
That was the
We haven't voted on it.
presentation that Alec and the person
Alec.
for MAPC
Yeah.
gave.
Yeah, we
Oh.
voted that in.
The Zoom one.
That was the Zoom.
That was the
Yeah.
PowerPoint
Yeah.
presentation
Okay,
that she
okay.
gave you.
Sorry about that, folks.
Yeah. No, are you kidding me? This is a village. I very often miss things. Not to go back.
Well, I think that's what you jumped and I missed that.
Yeah,
I
no.
apologize. Not blaming you, but blaming myself.
All right. So I'd like to adjourn the open session and vote to move into executive session if everybody's ready.
Second.
Well, no, I have to read it first. I'm just asking if you're all ready. Is anything else to be brought before the board in open session? I move to enter into executive sessions to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel per MGL Chapter 30A, Section 21A2, Fire Chief, and to consider the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of, wait,
Wait, what's
Just
that?
the first one.
That can come out.
oh, sorry. All right, I'm sorry.
Because Kelly prepared this before she
Oh,
went
she-
away.
right, 'cause I was
and
like, what
she-
happened?
Yeah, and she wasn't here when we
No, not her
removed
fault.
that part.
Not your fault, Cal. All right, I moved to enter into executive session to conduct strategy session in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel per MGL, Chapter 30A, Section 21A2, Fire Chief.
Okay.
You gotta read the rest, right?
I'm skipping all the stuff I crossed out. Having the discussion in open session would have a detrimental effect on the public body's negotiating position, bargaining position, litigating position, or ability to obtain qualified applicants. That's GLC 30A, Section 21A6.
And not to return.
And we will not, why isn't, now I'm gonna be a little cranky. This needs to be all written
That's
here.
my fault.
All right, what's the last sentence?
And not to reconvene in open session.
And not to reconvene in open session.
Second.
That was a cluster. We all knew what I was trying to say. All in favor of moving into executive session, we'll roll call vote. We'll start at the end. Wes,
Votes aye.
Priya,
Sundaram, aye.
Bob,
Sample I.
Dave,
Ken and I.
Hilberg, aye.
Bye-bye.
All right, let's go next door. Yeah, I look like